Let's see. Got a little banner up, man. You know these folks is coming. All right, we got a nice little audience here. Let's see what we got here. We got Hurricane was good. Vega. Shout out to Carlson Way. Y'all see what's up on the menu today. We got your boy Tariq Nasheed pulled up on no jumper on Wack 100. And also some Hebrew Israelite dude. I didn't put him in the title. His name was weird. But right, Carlton. I went right. Let's see what was talked about between these guys here at this table. Actually, I'll turn it off.
Adam and Wack, the show. And we've compiled a panel that I know that you have been extremely passionate about making happen, and you think that this is going to be very, very important for the culture. You want to handle some introductions here?
Yeah. Talking about the show today.
No, I'm talking about next week's show, but for some reason I'm introducing it right now.
Yeah. Cause you know, you white dudes always like to take the credit.
Here we go.
I don't know if I can say you're a white dude because you don't have a pickup truck.
Off camera, he's getting on my ass for not having a pickup truck.
Kind of white dude is he doesn't have a pickup truck. But yeah, today, I feel like a lot of the podcasts, a lot of the bloggers, we it's fueled off of controversy, beef, and gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because somebody has to talk about it. But we have a lot of voices in our communities that have a strong following. I believe you've interviewed Tariq before, right?
Yep.
And then we got Captain Tazariak, who's from One West, Hebrew Israelite. Now, my first attempt was to get a debate going on with what was the
Richard Spencer.
What's everybody's thoughts on like the whole Hebrew Israelite movement? To me, it's like it's a little offset. I guess I don't know too much about it. I guess the basic thing with it is it's a bunch of black people that claim that we're the normal Jews. I guess we're the actual Jews, the real Jews, and all the people that you guys have that are calling that now are just like the fake imposters and whatnot. And then I'll be seeing them on like the streets. I see them on the streets all the time here in Atlanta when I'm running and stuff. They be having like little white folks running up on them, kissing on their feet and stuff. Or they be like saying like they be yelling at white folks when I be passing by. I be feeling like I be feeling guilty or something. Like I'm supposed to be over there talking with them or something. But yeah, how do you guys feel about it? Do you guys feel like it's even a practical movement to get anything done, or is it just a bunch of just nonsense? Let me know.
Spencer, your brother.
You were trying to make him make a comeback.
Well, I mean, because here goes the problem
on this podcast.
We're gonna talk about it a little later on because you pulled a stunt.
Okay.
Pulled a stunt. You know what I mean? You use culture, you create your platform, and then know what you do? You put a Klansman up there in front of all your viewers.
Klansman is inaccurate.
With no representation.
Not a Klansman.
Of us. That was an X. Is he an X? This is a
he was never a Klansman. But now you forced me into a position of having to defend him, which is
yeah, because you didn't defend us. So he's a white supremacist.
He didn't say anything racist on the podcast.
All that shit is the same. There's a difference between
Ku Klux Klan is a very specific group.
But I say Klansman.
Here goes Adam acting dumb. He's acting like an idiot. He's acting like when he invited that Richard Spencer dude on there, he didn't know about his background, and now that now Wack is saying, yeah, he was a Klansman. He's like, well, no, he wasn't a Klansman. He was a neo-Nazi liberal, adjacent alt-righter. Come on, dog. I can't stand this about like people like Adam and stuff like that. Like when people do something that's racist, they say like, oh yeah, well he didn't say the N-word, so he's not racist. Bro, come on, man. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, he might not have actually been a Klansman, but it's along the same lines. You being a neo-Nazi alt-right guy, whatever the hell. So I don't get it, man. And shout out to Hurricane. I agree with you right there, talking about some, he's got a lot of balls inviting Tariq back on after what he said, because he was talking kind of greasy a little bit. He had that little dusty, little dusty African dude on there with them dreads that was looking like they was about to just fall off at any moment. He needed some extra grease off in him. But yeah, he's got a lot of ball. Shout out to Carla and Val, man. Glad to have y'all win this thing as well. And all the rest of the people that ain't saying nothing yet, man. Go on, drop a like, man, and go on, say something, man. Why y'all just in here just ghost watching? But let's keep going.
You said white supremacy.
Right.
Is there a difference?
No, I don't know the difference. Maybe one might be more
technical.
Maybe it's like
the Klansman is a white extremist. They're an extremist.
What's a specific group?
Right. So the Klansmen are white extremists.
But a white supremacist can be any type
They're
of
an organized group of white supremacists.
So you can be a white supremacist but say I'm not affiliated with the Klan.
Right.
Yeah.
But for black people from the outside looking in, it's all the same to us. That's why you say white supremacist when you say Klan.
And that's why I normally wouldn't argue with someone who called them a Klan.
That's what the Hebrew Israelite dude broke it down well. It's all the same to us, dog. You're racist. Racist is racist, dog. What are you talking about?
Except for Wack, I have to argue about it.
Like they have to unite the right out there in Charlottesville.
But that wasn't like organized by the Klan. That was organized by Richard Spencer.
A bunch of white supremacist groups. All of them. I'm not that group. All of them are white supremacists. So that's what we do. We look at them as one and the same. We don't separate them. And you know what? I can say I understand it because a lot of people don't understand a lot of shit I do in Clubhouse. Shit that I'm dumb to and don't know about. I'll go find it and pull it into me and educate myself about. Once upon a time, you asked me about a Hebrew Israelite, I wouldn't know what the hell you was talking about. Right. But what you just said, because I've learned that it's a lot of Hebrew Israelites, but then One West, ISUPK, right? They operate independently, but a little different from the rest, right? So I get what you're saying, how like Richard Spencer has his own movement, right? But then they are tied. Ultimately, you guys are tied to
right. So for us, like,
so it's basically like it's like Blood, Crip, GD, Vice Lord. They're all gangs, and black people look at them all as degenerate black gangs. So it should be the same as like, oh yeah, he part of the Klan, he part of the alt-right neo-Nazis, he part of the Proud Boys, he part of the First Watcher, I don't know, whatever the hell they got else out there, the Liberty Moms or some shit like that. It's all the same, dog. But let's get it.
ISUBK under Commander Jenny Hanna, he comes from the original foundation that was established in 1969. And so a lot of the Israelites that you see today branch off from that. They branch off from that. So you do have other Israelite groups, but they were branch off from the ISUBK or One West. So even when we say One West, it's an address.
It's an address.
Right, it's an address it was address in Harlem where it was founded. And so that's why we use the moniker One West.
One West.
It just represents
identifies who you are. But I will say this, right? Adam caught a lot of flack bringing that guy on here.
I heard.
A lot of flack.
Carlton's
Adam's kind of like me in a sense with you guys. I learn from you guys.
Right.
I don't know what you guys are going to say. I learn from what you say. And I don't think Adam really knew what the guy was coming to say, but he has a following, right? I don't believe the guy's following.
For the record, though, I was actually pleasantly surprised because he seemed like he had really kind of lost faith in any of his prior racist
views. He was lightened up.
Yeah.
No, but
I also feel like he just kind of feels like racism is not politically useful. So it might not be indicative of his actual beliefs.
Trump failed him.
That's true, too. He's a big Biden guy, much like myself.
Listen, I'm a Trump supporter.
I feel like Tariq wants to say something, but he's not. If you look at his face, he's kind of like sitting up ready to say something because Adam's like, well, yeah, I didn't know what he was going to say. I knew he was a neo-Nazi, but I didn't know what he was going to say. And I was kind of surprised that he came on and he said what he said because it's like, yeah, like racism dead. Like, bro, like you knew why you brought him on the show, dog. There's only one reason why you bring this little trashy dad-looking white dude to the show. Come on, man.
I didn't got it.
I'm a Trump supporter. Because of business.
We sliding.
Because of business. He probably going to get for that. Because of business. So look,
his cognitive health is an issue, but I've known of this guy for a long time. I remember when he was a bright, sunny public figure.
So listen, let me say this. Adam caught a lot of flack for that. But I will say this. My first move was I wanted a debate between Richard Smith and Captain Tazaria or somebody from our community, right, that could represent us. Adam was like, well, you could talk to him. No, that's not my lane. I would be doing my people a disservice doing that. I stay in my lane and things that I'm strong at, and I'll step to the plate and do, right? So, but when it comes to that, right, I wanted somebody, right, to represent. And Adam and I, we were corresponding before that. We were corresponding. We just couldn't quite. Nevertheless, for whatever reason, right. The guy didn't schedule. Adam did not fight me on it. He tried. We tried for a couple months. But I will tell y'all this, right? This is real talk. And this is the reason why I respect this man, right? Never in the history of podcasting have you guys on these major platforms took it upon yourself to say, you know what? Let's bring this together so they can speak and debate, not in a way of negativity, but to feed our people knowledge, right? And when I called Adam and said, Adam, this is what I want to do, I was met with nothing but, okay, Wack, make it happen. So all y'all out there that got something to say about this man, right? He's allowing us. This is his platform. I talk my shit. No Jumper is Adam 22's platform. He built this before I knew what No Jumper was, and he got the right to refuse anything that I asked him of. And it was no resistance. You called me, told me he was out here.
Yeah.
I called called the brother. Actually, I contacted Sir Major and said, "Yo, I know that's your brother, right? Call the brother and tell him this is what I'm trying to do, right?" And because of the Wack 100 persona, the brother automatically thought I was on some bullshit. And I tell people, no, you did. And I tell people, I always say this: once you get to know me, you'll realize the people that know you gotten to know me.
Absolutely.
You know when I'm doing something that may seem like this, you know it's something else. And when I got on the phone with the brother, right after probably like a few minutes into it, we start building. He like, yo, this is something that needs to be done. Right. To bring this together, like Adam, this is a lot of knowledge right here for our people. This is knowledge I can't give our people.
Okay.
Do you guys think that they needed to get on No Jumper to put this knowledge out? I think that personally, Tariq Nasheed and Wack 100 could sit in a room without Adam on their own platform. Tariq Nasheed could use that goddamn museum to goddamn host a podcast. Everybody would tune in every night like how they did with Kevin Samuels. They'll tune in like they do now. Like there'd probably be more people tuning in if he pulled a podcast up at the museum or something at night or something, and he brought on different guests or whatever. I think it would hit. And I don't think we really need no Adam 22's pod. We don't need his platform. And if you think about it, who is Adam's audience actually? I mean, we know there are some black dudes on there that obviously that's following him, but it's a lot of white guys on there that don't really care anything about this. A lot of guys that jack off 9 times a day, like low tier God, and just full of, But what do y'all think? Y'all think Tariq and them could have probably did this on their own? They didn't need Adam, or what? Is there any need for Wack to be wetting up Adam 22's balls like he is right now, or what?
I just can't, right? And I'm a student to them.
How do you break down your belief system or what being a black Hebrew Israelite is for the unacknowledged or the people who haven't really?
Okay, so say regardless of ethnicity, right? Just from the belief perspective. So for us as Hebrew Israelites, we don't really like the term black Hebrew Israelites. Okay. Because like the Jewish man, it's almost like saying the N-word in a derogatory fashion. So you might see the abbreviation BHI or black Hebrew Israelite. So we just say either Israelite or Hebrew Israelite.
Oh, y'all don't put black in front.
No, we don't put
y'all don't like to acknowledge the black.
Not that we all black, but we don't like to acknowledge black Hebrew Israelite because there is no term white Hebrew Israelite.
Gotcha. So they're trying to
that's the way, right? That's the way to radicalize us,
to make you a splinter group,
right? To make it seem like we have no right or authority to the Bible, to the Torah, to Tanakh, or anything like that. So we just say Israelite, or some people may say Hebrew Israelite because we speak Hebrew. So to a novice or somebody that has no idea what we teach, what everybody does have in their house is a Bible. And everybody believes in God or Jesus or Christianity or whatever it may be. So we come in and say we are the children of the book. So we're the ones that when they talk, whether they talk about Moses, whether they talk about Paul, whether they talk about whomever, that's in reference to us. That's our culture. And so we identify certain things that are transpired in the Bible that correlate to us today.
So if you're saying what's written in the Bible
what's good,
is our people, then how did it come to be that they owned it?
I mean, I'm assuming you're saying like the Europeans or the white man own it because of disobedience. Like the greatest question for black people in America is how do you fix black people in America? Like we've been in America for like 500 years. Other races come in there, they're able to flourish. Why aren't we able to flourish? Because we don't have the unity. For us, we don't have a culture or a God. If you ask 5 black people what they believe in or what their nationality is, you're gonna get 5 different answers. So if we're not even united with an identity, how can we ever go to a brother and say, we should move like this economically, we should move like this agriculturally, we should move like this spiritually or what we worship? So we have to have a foundation and we don't. So in the Bible, we get the foundation. Like even if you take, we was talking about earlier, BHI, you take the word nigga, for example. Nigga is totally derogatory today, right? We turn it into a cool form.
Yeah.
When you go into the Bible, you'll find that they call the Israelites niggas because it's just from the Latin word niger, which just means black.
Exactly.
So to wake people up, I can say you my nigga, Wack, but I don't mean it in what the white man gave us. I mean it from in the Bible. It just means these are
let me ask
people.
you a question on that. And I'm glad you guys are here. I got a friend. He has a movement called he collects shoes.
So Quan, that brings me to a good question, man. So is Wack 100 working for Adam now? And is that what's going on? Because I've been seeing him kind of a lot, him being up there a lot lately. Like I'll be seeing like the little No Jumper clip. I still follow the clip page, and I see him on there a lot with different guests and stuff like that, or just in different angles and stuff. I know it's not the same episode. So is he working with him now? And if so, that's not a good look to me, right? I think that's a little lame. Like you done fell all the way down from grace. You working for Adam now. But let's get it.
He sends him back to Africa.
Okay.
Right. It's called Afrikicks.
Okay.
He's from Niger. No, you pull it up. Afrikicks. Pull it up. I swear to God. You'll see it on there. He's been doing it like 6-7 years.
Okay.
And I didn't know this was happening today. But it's people back there in villages, children with no shoes.
Right.
So he collects, and we kind of like we don't really trip shoes because it's just
shoes.
Right, but back there, he sends me video. I swear, you go to Instagram, put up Afrikicks, you're gonna see these kids there with no shoes, barefoot. And he had these containers where he's passing out shoes.
Right.
So he was like, yeah, the word nigga was like you know, one of the first places they got the slaves from was Niger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know, it's like Europeans, people from Europe, they called them Europeans, you know, so on and so forth. He said, so when they got them over here, they was like, well, what do we call them? They're looking at black people like, what is this? He said they got them from Niger.
Mm-hmm.
So he's, you know, their first thing was, well, we got them from nigger. They pronounced it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So they're niggers, right? And I'm looking at him. And he's telling me this, and he's showing me his passports where he's from,
mm-hmm.
and he's showing me on the map, because I didn't know what the hell Niger was, right? So I'm like, I said, so you see, off the gate, he said it was a descriptive word, but over time, the way it was used and the way it was taken, it turned to what it was turned into. He said then the Black American took it and started saying nigga, as if, I don't know if you guys created that to discredit the word and own it ourselves. I don't know. I grew up with it, right?
Yeah,
and maybe I'm pretty sure you did some study on this, right?
Yeah,
so is there any truth?
That doesn't sound accurate.
Yeah, we'll give it to you. We want to know.
He said that doesn't sound accurate. Shut the fuck up.
And slave trade actually started in Spain. That's where modern white supremacy came from.
Gotcha.
When they had the Reconquista, you had black Moors and black Jewish people in Spain, and they expelled them. The ones they expelled, some of them went up to Amsterdam and certain other places. Some of them were captured and brought over here. That's why when Columbus and all of those people, when they came over here, they had translators. They had Hebrew translators, they had Muslim translators, because they had already been traveled here from black people who were Muslims and Jews and all of that stuff. So we've already had a presence in the Americas for a long time. Once they brought over the enslaved black people from Spain.
Stop right there, brother. You're saying black people were here in America prior to the slave ships coming here.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, talk to me.
There's a great book on that. They came before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima, Von Woutenau. Black Native Americans. But again, you had travelers coming over here. We knew how to sail. We had ships. They looked at some of these Native American tribes and saw that they have Hebrew languages in some of their native tongues.
Yeah, a good book is Lost Tribes in Promised Land, where they actually spoke Hebrew. And they knew what tribe they came from as far as being Israelites. And just to add, most people think the transatlantic slave trade started from Africa to America, but it started from America to Spain first. Just to back up what you're saying. They took the Taino Indians first. They took 1,100 Taino Indians as a trial run. And out of that 1,100, 300 survived. And you know what they said? That's good business. Make sure your phone's on. They said that's good business. And that became how the transatlantic slave trade started.
They was losing
800.
Damn.
Just, you know, back then it was like a year and a half voyage or something like that to go along that. And
wait. You telling me the first slave trade didn't come from Africa to America. They went from America to Spain.
And then they circled back around. Spain, the Spanish word for black is Negro. All right. So they started using the word Negro as a pejorative. When they brought them over here, the word Negro somehow flipped into nigga. They got short to nigga. And again, they had to dehumanize and use these terms as pejoratives for black people.
When you think about it, like so that's interesting that he put it together like that. But then like also when you think about the word N-word, like I think it's a lot of mispronunciation. Like with the white dudes, like I don't think they're always just saying like nigger. Sometimes they you nigga, like they just don't pronounce the R. Now it sounds like an A. And I think like some Southern black folks probably like start just using it along with themselves, and then like they kind of took it, like I guess they kind of took the sting out of it for some of the white people and all that. I don't know. It's just stupid all around to be using the word. To me, I don't like using it, but yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this this history lesson we're getting.
People, then it became a negative thing. There's no real definition to the word nigga. All right. That's the trick bag. That's why it flips people out so much, because when you label somebody something and you can't really define it, it throws them off. The word nigga has zero definition. Nobody can explain why it's negative. They say it's an ignorant person.
There you go. That's what I hear.
Right. But they're ignorant white people. How come they're not called niggas? You see, nigga is a word that they throw at us. And when you can't define it, you put power on it. For example, critical race theory. That's a powerful thing they use in politics now. There's no definition to critical race theory at all. It's whatever they say it means at the moment. So whenever they put a name or title on somebody without any definition, they can control you. This is why it's important for us to control our culture, identify who we are and what our culture is, without letting them label us.
Which is why I broke that word nigga down to show it's even used in the Bible, but it wasn't used in a derogatory sense, to back up what he's saying. It wasn't a negative connotation as to how it is now. It's only a negative connotation now because of the stigma to whom they applying it to. So it's supposed to be the nigga is slow, the nigga's not intelligent, the nigga can't do this. But when I look at our history, 40 years removed from slavery, building the greatest civilized cities during the Great Depression. During the Great Depression in America, you got like Wall Street, you got Seneca Village, you got Paradise in Detroit, you got all these cities that allowed to flourish. So when you say we're slow and stupid and we're unintelligent, it doesn't match up historically. HBCUs, historical black colleges, are black men and women that were able to build colleges during a time where we were supposed to be unintelligent. So we talking about the word nigga. I like how you said there's no definition of that word. The derogatory connotation is on the individual.
Not you know what I like? What I wanted to happen is happening. Because by you saying you like how he said that, and I know you, right now, when it comes to your arsenal, when you're doing your debates, you've just found something that you agree with the other brother on, right? And now you can add that to yours. And I think that's going to happen going forward. And definitely. I just kind of like just sitting here. A lot of people don't know this, Adam. I was a straight A student growing up. I just grew up in an area where I had to have 5 fights on the way to school, a couple in school, come home, this happened, that happened. I had older brothers who stabbed you, the dudes across the street. So I was kind of like a product of my environment. But I was a brainiac. Got to a point in elementary,
Yeah, man, this joke is talking about elementary school, bro. You was a straight A student in elementary school. Were you a straight A student in high school or above? Elementary school was like, all right, that's cool, man. It's like you ain't really no dummy, but it's like, bro, come on, man. You bragging.
I had to go from the 5th to the 7th grade because starting about the 2nd and 3rd grade, they had to put me in the next grade. They would literally send me 2nd grade to the 3rd grade class, 3rd grade, 4th grade class. So by the time I was in the 5th grade, I was doing the 6th grade work. So they're like, what are we gonna do for them? So they sent me to take the test. I passed it. Like I was tested at like 8th and 9th grade in the 5th grade. So I graduated in the 5th grade with the 6th graders, and I went to the 7th grade. But I say that to say this: you two are like, when I look at you, Cap, because I'm a movement guy, right? I got caught up in this gang stuff because that's what it was, right? And this is why I denounced being a gang banger. You hear me say it all the time, right? If I would have had to be part of a movement, it'd probably, like, I'm looking at what I probably would have been. If I would have just stayed in that other lane, right? It's the brother right here, right? If I could have focused on that, but I had to, dealing with everything else, you pick up this slang, you start to become a different mode.
Okay, can we follow that thread?
Yeah.
Very acclaimed Black intellectual Charleston White has had some things to say about.
Actually, I know several people from the hood that have graduated with straight A's, and I know people that were actually homeless that have graduated with great grades as well. So Wack 100 is making excuses for himself when it's like, bro, you just made some dumbass decisions. You knew right from wrong, to be honest, but I don't know, you just kind of just let it take you in. You was weak. But let's go.
That gang topic. He said that American gangs, the Bloods and the Crips, are way more effective than the Ku Klux Klan ever was in terms of basically destroying the fabric of Black culture. Can we get some thoughts on that? I'd love to know what everybody says about that.
I will put them, listen, and I like the way you came with that because it need to be addressed.
I would just love to know.
Even though it was a white guy's ploy, but it's a good one. I wouldn't say more, but I would say they goddamn in the same lane. I'm not gonna fight that.
The Klan has basically been marginalized. It doesn't seem like they have much going on, right?
What do I always say about Martin Luther King? And I say it. It's, I don't know if you ever heard me say it.
No.
I say Martin Luther King, what I wouldn't have done is died for the cause he died from, knowing what I know now.
Right.
Why? He fought for segregation.
No, integration.
Anyway, he fought for desegregation, right? And what did we do? This man died at 39, 40, left his wife and kids behind. Blood, we better not catch you at that school. Cuz we better not catch you at that park. We turn around and segregate ourselves. Literally, it's literally places where people say, man, don't go over there, the Bloods over there, or the Paru's over there, or the Crips is over here. Earlier today, when you told me, I said, y'all going to where? I said, you can't go over there, right? So it's kind of like, and like, I was a part of that problem, right? And I don't fight Charleston White on that, because I feel like
that the Bloods and Crips did more damage
because
than
I can't lie. When I get up and I leave my home, and I'm going places, if I see a group of white people, right, I don't think problem.
Right.
But if I see a group of Black people, I prepare myself that it might be a problem.
Gotcha.
But I'm gonna let y'all talk about it. I don't disagree with it.
I disagree with that because.
Do you guys think like that in your regular life? I think that's very primitive Black person thinking. That's kind of Looney Tunes Coonologist thinking to me in a way. Like I used to be like that as a younger dude. Like I'd be like, oh yeah, he probably on some bullshit. But then like now I understand if you just talk to these people and just act regular around them and stuff, like you never know like how these people are when you run up on them and you say what's up to them and y'all get to talking, how cool these people are, how regular they are, how smart they might be, what they might have going on with their life, what kind of money they're involved in. You don't know that. So I think he's kind of on that Cooney time. He just running around here just judging everybody based off the fact that he came from the hood. He's on that hood type of stuff, man. Like Hurricane, like Hurricane said, he's on that prison babble, man. He came from the hood, so now he automatically thinks everybody acts like the people that he was acting like. I mean, around, like the people like his peers and all that. So I think it's a little Looney Tunes to me. But let's get it.
Because after Dr. King died in 1968, and there were a lot of uprisings going on in this country. Black people were fighting back against white supremacy, and that was a threat to this society. And the federal government, the FBI, put out memos. They had the COINTELPRO program, and they said, hey, we can't have this stuff going on. We got to do something about these Black youths. They're too smart. They're getting along with each other, and they're fighting against us. A good friend of mine, T. Rogers, who passed. Rest in peace to T. Rogers, one of the smartest brothers I know. A lot of dudes who were in the streets, like Wack said, Wack was straight A student. I know a lot of gangbangers, smartest dudes you ever know. You go to jail with these dudes, they're like rocket scientists. The thing is, you create these circumstances to put these people in. And when you create certain circumstances, of course, people are going to act out a certain way with economic deprivation. On top of that, in the 1970s, they deliberately started to put these psychopathic drugs in the Black community. During the 70s, Tookie and Raymond Washington and all those guys, they were all on sherm sticks and acid. That's why they were doing a lot of that crazy stuff. And not to excuse it, because you don't have to do that, but you don't have to put the drugs in the communities either. So we have to look at everything in the full context. How would these brothers act if it weren't for the drugs deliberately put in there, if it weren't for the economic deprivation, and if it weren't for the racial targeting, because they had something called an alpha list out here in Los Angeles, where they had all of the top gang members on these lists where the LAPD was supposed to kill them. The NAACP and all of these people had to come out and stop them from having that alpha list. So there's the system of white supremacy that's governing all of this stuff.
But listen, look, bro, I hear all that. Mm-hmm. So are we dumb enough not to know to touch these things, or were we just not strong enough?
No. Yeah, if I could tackle that, right?
You know what I'm saying? Which one was it?
Yeah, when we talking about this, right, there's Europeans or white people have something called divide and rule policy. Divide and rule policy is something that they used in India, where they was able to divide India, where they would have one side of white people function and help us, one set of India, and then another side of white people function with another set of India, to keep them at odds to fight each other. And they didn't get free from that until about 1946, 44. You got Korea. The only reason Korea is a North and South Korea is because of divide and rule policy. The Russians decided to support one side, America decided to support another, and then they split. Divide and rule policy is what affects us today. Like, if we're talking about what is worse, the Klan or white supremacy versus the Bloods and the gangs, there isn't a torch that can handle it. Think about the death of Martin Luther King and Malcolm. That's a divide and rule policy. Most people looked at Malcolm as, Martin as the peacemaker. So you had a set of black people went for the peacemaker. Then you had some that went with Malcolm because Malcolm appeared and looked more militant. He looked more stronger. And then both of them got killed from COINTELPRO, which is what Tariq Nasheed brought out. So now you got sets of black men.
Which is a form of the Klan.
Thank you. That's what all of this is like. We ain't
COINTELPRO.
Right. Because they never disbanded the Klan. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, the Klan is the cop that goes you over. The Klan is your manager at Home Depot. The Klan is everybody. That's everybody. Now, if you can function like that, you can still deal with them and sit next to them, conduct your business and smile and work with them just like they work with you. That's something that black people got to learn. If a white person wants to encourage or empower white, I'm not against that. I'm just against it when you tell us we can't empower black. We should be able to do that.
Everybody should be able to empower their own.
Thank you. But you know what the threat is? The threat is if we empower ourselves, it would be at the lessening of them. Because as long as we can be divided, you take them Bloods and Crips. Let me get back to that. So the Bible says oppression make a wise man mad. So you kill Malcolm, you kill Martin. You flood us with those drugs, like you say. You put us in a state where we can't get jobs anymore. So now we're just stranded in the neighborhoods, have to work because this is a business. America is an economic country. And so now we ain't got this business, but this white man just gave me this drug. I don't want to sell it, but I ain't got no other choice. I'm not excusing them doing it. They shouldn't have, but I can understand the root of the problem. So we're talking about what's worse, that divide and conquer policy that the Europeans don't just implement with us, but implement with everybody. We're seeing the residuals and ripple effect. Blacks killing blacks is an act of civil war. And yes, we do harm to each other, but there ain't a greater murderer on the planet than the white man. I don't care where it is. There ain't a better strategist when it comes to destroying a village or a people and to get them to be sorry for it at the same time.
And when you have the Bloods and Crips getting together, having a peace treaty in the 90s, that was a threat because the minute they got together, they went after the white establishment. And that's what they don't want to have. So there's always that rift that they're trying to create.
Can you imagine?
Hold on, Cap. See, we can't do that. Because, see, listen, all right, white guy kills George Floyd, right?
Right.
Shut cities down, they loot, they march, all this, right?
But a lot of that looting was white folk.
Yeah.
Antifa. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of that looting was white folk.
Rodney King.
Okay.
They beat Rodney King right here in my neighborhood in the city of Pacoima, 4 miles from here. Built here for the police station beside Amsterdam Park. They went crazy. That's when, right? Now, how come when Big Sebo shoot the park up and kill little D and little B-Dog and then hit an innocent kid over there, why the community ain't marching and demanding that shooter be dealt with? Why is the only time we do that is when we feel like the so-called white man has done something to us?
Well, Debo is going to go to jail, number one.
Not all the time.
If he gets caught, you're not walking around with bodies on you and everybody knows it and the cops ain't.
What I'm saying is there's no outrage.
Now, bro, Wack is being a looney coon, bro. And Tariq he just gave the answer. This is the answer for any of those people that's running around here like, man, why are we marching for our own people when we have black on black violence? That's why, because we know that the cops they're gonna make sure they do all they can to bust the house open and raid the house and take all the people in and maybe not let them make it to the jail alive. But when a white dude does it or when a policeman does it, it's a little more outrage because we know there's a pretty significant chance they're probably not going to get justice. You're probably not going to get justice for it. Think about it. The what's the name? Them two boys down there in Georgia. What's the that killed Ahmaud Arbery? They weren't going to let them boys go to jail. The only reason that happened was because black people brought it up. George Floyd, had it not been seen the way it was, that dude would have got away with it. He probably would have knelt on 2 more people's necks, and then several other people. And then even looking at what's the one dude that got away? George Zimmerman. That guy that got away, George Zimmerman. That's a perfect example of why black people get mad when white people kill us, because they oftentimes will get away. The justice system is not the same for them as it is for us. So it's pretty simple. But Wack is a little retarded. He's he's on that Looney Tunes prison babble, like Hurricane said. So yeah, it's not looking good for him, man. He's sitting up talking about. So first he's talking about all the gang stuff. It just took me down, and I just couldn't get through it. I was a straight A student in elementary school through 6th grade. Through 5th grade. And then he said, so yeah, what about the drugs? Is it because we stupid, or is it because we just didn't know no better and we looking for opportunities? Bro, you just said it. You said it yourself. You just said it yourself, bro. Like some of y'all just don't have the discipline and just to not do it. You just want to do it. You can go do something else, but you want to do that.
But they get arrested, and if that's the white man, right? That's the white man doing their job. What do we do it? Because we get together and say, we finna go hit Rodeo. We about to go loot Beverly Hills because they killed Rodney King in Pacoima.
But that dude who's killing a kid, that's not a community thing. The community ain't co-signing.
No, it was a straight bullet.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
We back across the right.
Right. The whole community ain't backing up that guy. Nobody's co-signing this.
What are they doing?
Well, he gets arrested.
That's the white man doing his job. Right. What are we doing? And I'm listening. And I'm talking to y'all.
Right.
This ain't me, brother. He can't even answer the question.
No, I'm not. He gets arrested before we can do anything.
That's the white man. Bull, right. Bull, that is a lie.
But when you think about it,
who's killing people? Who's killing people walking around?
Somebody who's a terrorist in the hood and walked around and all they said was, hey, homie, do about that bullshit, right?
And not if you're killing no kids.
No, bro, shit happens.
Because you go to jail. You know, in jail, people don't fuck around with dudes who kill kids.
What I'm saying is, he's not doing that intentionally, but we knew in the process of him killing Debo, we know a kid got hit. Right?
Usually we know these things. Usually the hood will deal with somebody for kids.
I'm saying,
right.
Overall, when are we as a people in our community
here's the thing.
going to strike back at us?
Here's the thing.
So he should be talking to his own gang members. Realistically, if you're a OG gang member, you should be talking to them about why they're not cleaning up the neighborhood. Because wasn't that what the original purpose of the gang was for? To stop all that extra? Yeah, so I mean, you're supposed to have a little bit of skin in the game, so you're supposed to be telling these folks this, bro.
We do strike back when we do act as vigilantes. That becomes black on black crime again. Because a lot of times when we clap back at somebody, I'm glad you said that.
But wait,
why are you thinking like that? You know why? Because we have not sat down amongst ourselves and said, hey, we have to police ourselves. Right? We get charged as criminals and police ourselves. Why does it have to be, we got to do some vigilante type stuff?
That's what it is.
Well, that's the word that's used, but what you're saying is what he's saying.
So there's no answer to it?
He's answering it. The Panthers did it. They would police themselves. They would do all of that themselves. And then that still was a threat. Because if we show that we don't need white people to police us, then how can they ever infiltrate us and keep us down? They would never let us alone.
So you don't believe?
I wanted to say,
wait, Cap. We need the white people to police us, right?
No, we don't. No,
what you mean?
We don't need the white people.
Who's gonna police us?
We can. What I said was when
you know who need to police us?
Who?
You punk motherfuckers out there telling them kids. Nah, hold on. Okay. Y'all in the neighborhood. You telling them kids 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old who don't have a felony.
Right.
Stay in the hood. Push the hood. Do the things we hood doing. But the minute somebody like me tell them, go to the police academy. You tell them they a snitch. You tell them they ain't no good. They can't come back. The minute I tell them, go to the military. Right? Oh, you's a buster. You ain't this. You ain't about that life. See, if we get enough of our people going to the police academy or going to the military, coming back out of the military and maybe law enforcement, then we stop having a complaint that OP pulled us over, acting all nervous and shot us for no reason. Because
that shouldn't even be a thing that has to be done. And that sounds like a very long game. That sounds like a process that's going to take like 50 years or something like that to eventually get to it. But that shouldn't even be a thing that we have to do. We shouldn't have to tell white people to learn how to act around the neighborhoods that they patrol. That should be their job. They should have extensive training and knowledge on what neighborhoods they're going into and how to act around the people and what kind of people they're going to be around. They should have extensive knowledge where they don't just run up and just like, oh, I'm fear from my life. If I'm from Dublin, Georgia, I shouldn't be in Atlanta policing the west side of Atlanta. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't know what you from Big Bear, California, and you run around in Los Angeles policing black neighborhoods. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on what do y'all think about it.
Because your nephew and my nephews and cousins, they grew up around us. So they know how to deal with us. They're not nervous like that talking to us, right? But you know where it's starting? It's starting in the streets on the block. These so-called OGs. See, being an OG is telling them, go to school. Learn how to read and write. Being an OG is telling them, yeah, go to police academy. Come back with those credentials.
Now, here's the thing, Wack. We had a brother named Chris Dorner. who did just that. Chris Norton, was his brother militarily trained.
That's the one. I didn't come outside when he was looking for him.
Yeah,
I looked to my side. I did not come outside.
Look, he was looking for the police. He did just what you said, and he saw how corrupt it was.
Right.
He said, "Hey man, these people are evil as hell. I got to take them out my damn self."
No, but he should come on with that crazy shit.
I'm just saying his mentality. I'm saying
I think he got rejected with him.
He got out.
Yeah.
But we can't say that's the way to go.
I didn't say that.
He was wilding on when he got rejected by the police. That rejection is what caused him to get reckless.
Right. And he was talking about how people were being abused.
Right. And he was trying to report it. And of course, you can't do that.
Do you agree? Do you agree that more of our youth?
That's a good point, Quan. And I think you can even use an example here in Atlanta, where here in Georgia, period, like DeKalb County. DeKalb County police is like mostly black, depending on what part of DeKalb County you're in, and they're still pretty lame. So I mean, I don't think it really matters. I think I think the mindset matters. I think if you're infiltrating their type of policing, then you're gonna have a different mindset. Whereas, like, maybe we started something from scratch. That'd probably be the real answer. Where we start something from scratch, we teach all the tactical training and all the mental training that's going to be needed to be out there on these streets, and give you all the protective gear that you're going to need, and then it might work. But yeah, I don't know. Wack is definitely showing us some Looney Tunes actions right here. But let's keep on going.
That don't have felonies, and maybe they don't have a scholarship to go to college. They should enter the police academy and go to the military.
Someday we should have more people in law enforcement. We do have to understand how law enforcement is set up. They have police unions where they have certain white people come in and they screen people to allow white supremacists to be in law enforcement. Out here in Los Angeles, you have white supremacist gangs in the sheriff deputy department.
We don't never get there if the OGs in the streets is telling them, you a bitch if you go to the police academy. You ain't gonna be good over here if you go to the police academy.
They don't have to listen to them. They can go.
But they're listening to them.
But they don't even have to listen to these old heads. They could just listen to the fucking radio or any popular rap song that's basically telling you that you ain't shit if you ain't shot somebody.
Do you think it's a problem with that, Cap?
I got two answers. One, when you was talking about the killing, right? The reason why there's no rally, to back up Tariq's point, when a black kills a black is because they get arrested. They get arrested, they go to jail, they get handled. Even sometimes, I don't want to make it absolute, but more than not, they get arrested.
George Floyd's killer was arrested and put on trial and everything, and that didn't stop the greatest racial reckoning in the history of our country. Right?
What made the joke? Wait, before I say that, right?
But he was arrested.
Right, but the reason why they riot, the reason why they riot and march when a white kill a black is because nothing ever happens. So now in their mind, I'm going to march to get justice for Eric Garner. Eric Garner got choked out on camera. You can watch it. Tamir Rice got hit by shot by.
That was a brother in Eric Garner.
Eric Garner, that was in New York. He got choked out.
I have my own opinion about that.
Right.
He said, "I can't breathe." You know what? It would have made him. You know what? They would
let go. They were supposed to let go.
Right. But you know why he didn't let go? Because he said, "I can't breathe." So in the cop's mind, he's still resisting. Why not just be quiet, drop your hands? But in his mind, I'm being choked to death.
Your natural
reaction. But to answer your question about the police and the military, I would be against the military because now you have no control. So you're going to go from so-called fighting each other in gangs to now being in the greatest gang, which is the American military, which goes out and kills whoever it is, and you have no say.
You got a problem with Americans? I'm American, Cap.
Boy, here you go. I'm American too. I live in America. I was born in America. I have a problem when that military says, when America says it's wrong for us to take up arms and defend ourselves lawfully in our own neighborhoods, but then I could join their military and go pillage Palestine or pillage Afghanistan or Africa or somewhere else abroad.
Politics based on running.
That's politics we don't control. What about our politics? Wait, hold on. What about our politics? In our neighborhood, there's politics of how this block is going to be safe again. I remember when I grew up, my mother was Big Mama, so with one of them, it was like a couple of them. And so now on that block, there was politics. If I got out of pocket, Ms. Royster could discipline me and then come to Ms. Gas and tell me about it because there was politics. So if we can't politic our own neighborhood, why should we go and politic somebody else's country? So that doesn't make sense.
No, I'm gonna say this because I just saw.
I kind of feel what he's saying a little bit too. And then also on top of that, black people have totally different political views from the white people in the rest of the country. We're not with all that dropping bombs on these people. We don't really care about what these people have going on over here. We're really trying to get ourselves right in the first place, like he said. So I kind of can understand what he's saying. What do y'all think?
Oh, this other day, my boy Top Dog, TDE.
Okay.
He from Nickerson Garden Bounty Hunters for real. I seen something the other day. You got Drake Street Watts, Bounty Hunter, Bloods, PJ Watts. Them the three main projects over there. SZA is one of his artists.
Okay.
I watched him take 30 or 40 tickets. He went to all the projects, the Crip projects, got the children, the gangbangers, not the little ones, the gangbangers. Gave them all tickets and brought them all together. And they went to that SZA concert. These is people that see each other and will kill each other on sight. Top Dog from TDE.
And you know what that says?
He took all the youth to the SZA concert. His artists, he's utilizing what he has control of and brought them together. And I guarantee you, those kids start following each other. Now they know each other. They laughed and joked. They danced and partied. Right? He had them VIP seats. So I know I talk about a lot of things that we don't do.
Right.
But some of the things we do, we need to talk about because we are naturally, our black people, competitive.
Right.
And we are competitors. So I challenge myself and the rest of you brothers out here, us sisters, that have a platform, some say-so in a situation like Top Dog just did. I want to see you go back to these communities and let's try to bring them together.
And you know what that shows? They're not killers. Like what that shows, if he can grab them who at one time they were around each other, they would fight, shoot, whatever it is, but then now they're not doing it because of this opportunity, then that just means they just need opportunity. And if you give these brothers and sisters their opportunities, they can do anything. You just talked about how you smart. My neighbor, everybody in the neighborhood, even if they're in the greatest killer you can think of on the planet, they're still smart and intelligent. And so all they're lacking is opportunities.
And I'm glad you keep saying that word. And this is why when y'all call me and say, why you fuck with Adam, Wack? He's this, he's that. We only at this table on this platform because he gave me the opportunity to run my play. This is why.
You could have filmed this at the boys club.
Yeah, but guess what? Your
platform. Yeah, so Adam really just kind of threw you under the bus right there. He said, yeah, you could have filmed this at the boys club, which you could have. Like I said earlier, like everybody's been saying, they did not need Adam's platform to get this done. They could have used their names. They could have used Tariq Nasheed. Tariq has a big enough following where enough people will tune in and be like, hey, man, that's Tariq Nasheed. And then Wack 100 has, he can bring in that little kind of that side of the game. And then the Hebrew Israelite dude, I don't really know him too much. I don't know what kind of following he has. I guess it's decent. He could bring in his part of the game. But Tariq has enough flow to the point where he can pull in some folks and everybody will watch it. But let's get it.
Platform, believe it or not, is a platform that people flock to, right? And you giving a lot of people, AD, they all had their problem. And AD won't, I can speak for AD.
You don't gotta gas me up.
No, this is real stuff. You gave AD an opportunity. AD knows that.
Okay.
And believe it or not, whether you want to believe me or not, every time your name comes up, he says, I fuck with Adam, I respect Adam. It's real stuff. You've given a lot of our people opportunity to do things. And I commend you on that because some of our own people don't give us opportunity.
I mean, he wild. Listen, Adam, do get some props for that.
Yeah.
When I was doing an interview, I said Wack is like a cheat code to me because I don't know Wack unless it's from club. If I don't ever go in Clubhouse into one of his rooms, I don't know Wack at all.
That's real.
I never met Wack. I heard of him, but never met him. Yeah. I go into a room and it was a Muslim room. And from that one Muslim room, remember that Muslim? It was a Muslim. From that one Muslim room,
they wanted to fight him.
Yeah, they wanted to fight him and everything. Yeah.
You know this coldest weapon was? I know this. I said, okay. They are trained. They never lose their composure. And it irritates you even more if they're losing the debate.
Right. When
that brother was like, that brother turned from minister, best Muslim to gang shoot him up. I'm gonna see you on the block. We're gonna pull up and all over. That's a debate. It was a debate. Just from that debate, me and his brother, and I want to point out something else. As me and his brother building, his brother let me interview Kanye. He didn't have to let me do that at all. I didn't even think I was doing it. I called him to pay for the interview. He said, no, you're gonna do the interview. Then after that, we had a clash. Well, at least what perceived a clash. And what
I'm gonna tell you something today, Cap, I never told you.
Okay, and so
you and Wack had a clash?
Yeah, me and Wack had a clash.
It wasn't really me and him.
No, it wasn't me and him.
It was my side of the app versus their side of the app.
Right. So
I'm gonna tell you something that I never told you.
Okay. As soon as I finish. So what I like the most and what I think a lot of people, especially from like watching your show, I watch your show. So I see everybody gets on the show and they want to clash and have this enemy that doesn't have to last that long. This man has a black belt in that.
So with Wack, right? So we have this so-called clash. It lasted. I thought it was over, and he'll tell you, even in the middle of it.
What was the clash?
Over Biggie and Tupac, but it wasn't even Biggie and Tupac. It wasn't even about Biggie and Tupac at all. It wasn't about that at all. It was just like he said, it was about his side and my side, right?
First of all, let's rewind. I got this thing on Clubhouse. I built a side. It's a machine.
Run 24/7.
The 100 side. It's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. It rotates. It's a rotating schedule. It's like 18 rooms. So you can't, if you're a room like another room, you can't come in. So when I saw the Hebrew Israelites in the debate with the Muslims, I said, you know what? We don't have this over here. And I was learning some stuff. So the queen of the 100 side, R&B, I said, R&B, get with Cap and see if they want to come over to the side. Right? So as I'm over there, I'm noticing that the ISUPK guys is coming periodically, but the overall community wasn't. But I'm showing extreme love to the Hebrew Israelite movement because what comes with me is about 30 YouTubers recording all day long and they sending it out. So it's surpassing just Clubhouse. So I never told you this.
Okay.
See how you say it was Biggie Tupac? I don't give a shit about I know Biggie Tupac. But I wanted to see how it really was. So I started a beef. One side against the Hebrews were like, y'all trying to manipulate and kidnap our women from our side. Larry, you kidnap and manipulate our women. You over here infiltrating. You just like J. Edgar Hoover. You COINTELPRO and a blackface in his own, right? I wanted to see who was really genuine and who wasn't. And guess what happened? Israelites that we didn't even know existed start popping up. Fuck Wack 100, screw the 100 side, those gangbanger thugs. I wasn't hearing none of this when I was broadcasting them on the YouTube channels. But you know, with one guy and what movement I never heard the peak from, Captain Tazariot and the One West guys, they never spoke ill against me or my side. So it let me know, Cap, you in fact in your movement is definitely a standalone movement because all the rest of the guys, oh, he's from the streets, he's the gay, and Cap is telling them, I'm telling y'all right now, me and Wack gonna be all right. He running the play. I don't know what play he running, but Biggie and Tupac doesn't make sense. And the fact that it doesn't make sense, I know he's doing something. What? He said, give me a month or so, me and Wack gonna be all right. Cap on no jumper.
No, that's
how do y'all feel about Wack's little story? Did it come around and make sense, or was it like, I guess you just kind of just chose an arbitrary reason on why you chose him? What do y'all think?
I used no jumper against you too. He did. And then what make it good though, to my point, was that even in the middle of the class, brothers should be able to have disagreements and it don't end in the friendship forever.
Right.
Just because, and that's in the Bible too, like disagreeing with a brother, it happens. That's again politics. The politics of beef. If people have beefs, there should be a place you should be able to go to squash it.
Right.
It shouldn't be a place that you go to ignite it and keep it going, because the goal is to end it. If you're in a business and your business and beefing is messing up your business, the only thing you can do is end it. And then now, if more people see that instead of the constant tension, friction, violence all the time, then they be like, okay, these brothers know how to handle themselves.
Right.
But nobody is actually going out to teach them. What I like about the organization, I mean, with the brother that runs California, I'm not from California, I'm from Jersey.
How do we feel about his wrist gauntlets? How are we feeling about these little Mortal Kombat fatality wrist gauntlets? How are we feeling about these? Are y'all liking them? Are y'all wearing? Would y'all wear that out here in these streets, just out here, just walking around? What kind of conversation pieces are you starting with the ladies? And ladies, how are you striking up a conversation with somebody wearing wrist gauntlets like this? Let me know.
I'm born in Jersey, raised on 141 Woodlawn in Jersey City, New Jersey, but I run New York, meaning I run the school in New York. And so what we do is we create that politic nature. If there's any issues that brothers and sisters have, we work out a way to mend that bond so that they can go back to being brothers again. They can go back to being sisters again. Damn right. But in the entertainment world, it's like the frenzy is the beef. The more drama you have, the better it is. Right. And I ain't gonna say I don't like none of it, because we all could get caught up in the drama. I like some of it, but I also like resolutions to it as well. So if anybody knows the history, you can see, first of all, me and Wack were great beforehand, we're great now, and we rocking on no jumping. I appreciate Wack.
That's Mac from Rolling 60s. He put up a post the other day that said, just because we end a friendship doesn't make us enemies.
Right.
I simply just chose not to be friends with you anymore.
Right.
It doesn't make us enemies.
Right.
That don't mean I can't see you. You can see me. We're just not friends anymore. Right. So, and that's real. But these days, if a friendship ends, we're beefing
forever,
because there's so much to gain from the public drama of beefing with that person that I constantly see people not be able to resist it, even though it basically quite often means like compromising their own code. And like people who say that they're loyal want to like, just proclaim that they're loyal, even though as soon as they have any kind of friction with somebody, they run to the internet to document it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's great.
You said recently that I blame a lot of non-FBA people for a lot of stuff.
Well, that's pretty much the theme of a large percentage of the conversations I've heard you have.
We ain't a large percentage. We talking about
how do I tell you right?
I mean, lock them doors.
Because I
can't hold it against you because I love it.
Let's lock the doors real quick. Thank you, brother.
You'll have a conversation. I'm sure you've heard Tariq do this, where it'll be, this black person did this bad thing. What do we think about it? And his immediate claim is, well, I think they're Haitian. They're definitely not FBAs, yada yada. And it's like, it's just kind of like a fascinating thing that the conversation frequently gears towards.
Foundational Black Americans. Yeah. So if somebody does something weird, a lot of times it gets dumped on us, and then we look at the background of the people. They're not even from here. So I'm like, wait, I don't want to hold nobody's negativity. So if anybody does something,
so if a Haitian does something,
right? Because
what a Jamaican does something,
right? Because if a Jamaican or a Haitian wins an award, all of a sudden the Jamaican American won this award. They go out of their way to differentiate themselves from us.
You got a point.
We don't talk about the same shit when you do a crime. If you do a crime, be Haitian when you do that crime.
When I see you going to war with Dante Ross, for example, on Twitter and whatnot, it feels his opinion is that it's divisive, that this is not productive, that this doesn't add anything to the discussion. That black people should be attempting to have more unity, to move more as a unit, and not separate themselves based on stuff like who's been in the country longer and everything like that. What do you say?
Well, lineage is lineage. I come from a lineage, and that's just history. My lineage comes from here. I don't come from no immigrants. No immigrants are my background. And Dante Ross, his beef is about the documentary we're doing. We're doing a hip hop documentary where we're telling the truth about who created hip hop. Wasn't Latinos and Caribbeans. Okay. That's a lot that they've been promoting.
And why do you think they're promoting that?
To take
who's promoting that?
The corporate.
Yeah, I really don't get that. Like now that we've finally decided to kind of make our own lineage and kind of just make it clear. Now everybody's getting mad about it when you got folks that all this time been talking about I'm Jamaican, I'm Trinidadian, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria, like all that, what they be saying, I'm Igbo, yeah, Igbo, all this kind of little extra stuff. Why can't we just say, bro, I'm FBA, bro, and that's all it is. It's not no diss to all the other black people around the world. It's just, that's what we are, and you're Jamaican, and you're Trinidadian, and you're Nigerian, and you're from wherever the hell you're from. That's all it is. So I don't know why everybody's making it more difficult than it really is. Everybody's making a mountain out of a molehill now that we've decided to kind of enter the chat, as they would say.
Corporate media, They're trying to say that
I believe they was part of the rise of it, but they didn't create
it. They came later.
Because they love to like take all the different minorities and just sort of round them all together and just say people of color.
No, you can't.
Well, my position is a little different though. So I rock with him with, he probably gonna say like we're not African, right?
We have African lineage. We're descended from Africans. So we do have.
Okay, well,
I'm Black American of African descent.
I'm a foundational.
I'm not African, nothing.
Right. Well, I don't believe that we're African.
If America and Africa go to war,
Right.
I'm trying to. I want the Americans to win. I'm banned on from the Americans.
So
I don't want to adapt to another way, bro. They out there with trillions of dollars, and 4 miles down the road, ain't no running water.
So my position is different. Like when we was talking earlier, and we was talking about Negroes being over here, Taino Indians. We were speaking about that. So for me, the Taino Indians today would be what we call the Puerto Ricans. For me, the Dominicans, the Haitians, North Central South, all those Indians, those are all my brothers. The West Indians, those are my brothers. So that's how we look at it. So from my perspective, from my position, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel are the Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. So the Mexicans, Black people love to hate. That goes right back to that divide. Like you get a good book called Black Indians.
Bro, you said that a Hebrew Israelite's father,
right? That determines what you are. No, it has to be an Israelite. So let's say take Drake. I use Drake for an example.
Any of those, if you're part of any of those.
Yeah. So take Drake for an example. I heard this. Some guy on the internet said that Drake had to take a position on the Israeli-Palestinian war.
No,
I
that's sucker.
I didn't know if I could. I don't know if
that's sucker shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that's the divide.
He was trying to like that.
And I'm gonna tell you how that's a divide. And I'm gonna explain Drake, and then I'm gonna say how that's a divide and conquer.
Respectfully, you're gonna come up here biting your tongue, bro.
I ain't know about to mention.
That's not a good representation of One West, bro. We ain't doing no biting no tongue.
No sweat. I got you. No problem.
Let's go.
So that cat Vlad, which I thought that's that divide mentality, because Drake has a Jewish mother, but he has a Black father. So to us, he's Black. Right. It doesn't matter what your mother is; it matters what your father is. The reason why I say he's trying to play it because
too, I think it was Drake.
Yeah, Drake and Khaled. But here's a divide. Whenever whites have done anything, or so-called Jewish people have done anything, when has he ever went to Jewish people or white people and said, "Why aren't you speaking about this or what's happening to Black people? Why aren't you doing this? Why is it only Drake has to speak on the Israeli position so that it could galvanize the people? Why do we have
and also you said something about the 12 tribes. You said Russian Jew. Mexicans are part of the 12 tribes.
Yeah,
now some people say, well, before 500 years ago, there wasn't a Mexican race, so how would they come from?
There wasn't a Puerto Rican, there wasn't a Haitian, there wasn't a Dominican or a Mexican before the Europeans colonized them. Like you can go to a certain region of Mexico, they're darker than you and I.
Right, they were Black people.
Well, see, even the term Black. So I get when you're saying Black, ethnically, so I would say Mexicans are from the tribe of Issachar. I wouldn't call them Mexicans. I would say so-called Mexican. If you want to say Black, all 12 tribes are Black, different shades of brown. Like a Dominican, you see David Ortiz? David Ortiz is a brother, but he don't look as light as somebody else.
DR, you look just like a bunch of them. You got the Dominican.
You know what's funny? You said that I had a job and Dominicans can't talk Spanish to me. And
I swear.
I don't know if David Ortiz is a good example because aren't a lot of Dominicans descendants of like Africa? They're like in that kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. I can see if he chose like a white Dominican and he said that, but David Ortiz is clearly from that whole triangle slave trade situation, isn't he?
I'm looking at these brothers. I'm in a whole room. All the people from the Bodega Association, owners, and I'm looking at them. And I see us. The noses, the lips, the tongue. I'm looking at us, right?
But they classify themselves as white.
Now, see, that's a mentality. Yeah, Puerto Ricans do too.
Now, Clubhouse, they fight us and say they're Afro. They Black.
Some do, but see, the ones that fight us are the ones that really believe that they're Afro-Latina and accept that. But you do have Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that will say that they're white, that they're not. So I can't argue with that point.
Where does white factor into the DR, though?
To separate from DR.
No, but that one of the tribes, right? So how does that?
Because you can look at
are they grabbing it just to grab it, or is there some truth to them possibly being European?
Well, Spaniards did conquer, so I would
identify with the Spanish,
right?
Even though they're Black, that's why they say, "Well, I'm Spanish." And
like even Spanish is saying you're a Spaniard because the Spanish, the conquistadors, they did colonize a lot of North Central and South America, the island of Dominican Republic, and so forth. So some of them do. I'm not saying that even Black people, every Black person is not Black. You would have to see. Like whenever I say like Bob Marley's not Black, everybody goes into a whole uproar because they look at his complexion, but his father's an old white man. When you look at, if you're
saying Bob Marley, now
if anybody listening, y'all,
so it's not about what you look like.
It's what your father is. Right?
What about French Montana?
French Montana's Arab. No, he's Arab.
No, I thought he's from
Morocco.
Morocco.
Yeah,
he's African.
He's African, but
they're Arab. They go over there and speak all that Arab stuff. But if anybody was to look up,
Wack's an idiot, dog. He's an idiot. He just come with that, bro. Wack, you're an old ass dude. You about 50, and you still don't know that everybody from Africa is not Black, dog. Come on, bro.
Nigga, I don't care.
I like some of his music. But if you look up Bob Marley's father and take the melanin and put it on Bob Marley's father, that's what Bob Marley looks like. But he's a white man. An old white man. He's like 50-something years old.
Was his mother like African?
His mother was Black. His mother was West Indian. She was Jamaican. His mother was Jamaican. So, of course, growing up under your mother, he takes his mother's culture, identity, and leans more towards that. And I use that as an example because colorism is something that plagues us. Light skin versus dark skin. Whether it's Dominicans versus us. Black people are light skin. Let a red bone Black person be around a dark skinned Black person. We are taught that there has to be tension there. We're taught that she has to be, or he has to be white because he's a red bone. When you can go into Africa and you can see Africans with blonde hair and blue eyes that have never been touched by Europeans at all. Colorism is something that goes right back to that divide and conquer mentality that the Europeans employed on us.
I'm American. So
I'm American too, man.
I'm a foundational Black American. I identify with that.
So you say I'm so-called American.
Because I'm gonna be real, bro. I'm gonna be real.
Right.
Like, who do we honor? Do we honor the house Negro and say, Massa, they running? Or do we honor those white people that hit us and fed us along the way? I believe it's good on both sides. So I'm born in 77.
You can't say that every single white person is evil. You can't.
That's what I'm saying.
When we say
they help, some of them hung from trees just like we did.
I don't know about you going to.
What?
I don't know.
You telling me none of them white people that got caught helping us on the move hung from trees?
You got to prove that. I don't believe.
So
no
you
white,
telling me them Klansmen just let them go? They didn't treat them as if they treat us.
If they did kill them, they didn't hang them.
Right.
That's reserved for us.
Right.
But when we say, so like sometimes Israelites, now I'm gonna say some things that Israelites say. Sometimes you might see the Israelites say, and this includes me, so like the white man is the devil, right? The word devil just means deceiver. When we make that statement, we're not talking about every single person. It's like saying all Black people eat chicken. All Black people don't eat chicken.
Throughout the 1800s and 1900s, 3,400 Black Americans were lynched. 1,300 whites were lynched.
There you go.
Oh, you gotta send that
from a tree.
I just Googled
those are the ones that's just documented.
I Googled were whites lynched.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
I don't know.
Like,
Was it hang lynch though? Like hanging?
And I'm gonna be real with you.
Good question.
When I got out of prison, my job opportunities came from a family called Wagner's Trucking out of Billings, Montana. We talking about, those type of white. They come from that. David Wagner, Wayne Wagner. I walked in there on parole, French braids, all that. And I told him, I said, look, I'm this, I'm that, I need a job. He gave me a job. One of my first contracts in the music business. Because Ray J gave me a shot to enter that side of the business and get out the streets. Alan Grumblack, but he's Jewish, right? So in prison.
He acts like he's saying something like these Jewish people aren't profiting off of the young Black artists like they have been doing the whole time. What are you talking about, Wack? What are you saying?
I've had fights with what they call the Peckerwoods. Right? I have fights with Crips, with Bloods. So when I say I'm American, I'm simply saying that when it comes to me doing business and navigating myself through life, I think like that. I don't look at a person and think because they're Black, they're good for me, or because they're white, they're bad for me.
Right, you're not supposed to.
I first let them present themselves.
Right, exactly.
And then I gauge it and judge it at that. Because you got some people like, all white people are the devil. No, I know some Black devils too.
I'll tell a story. I remember, I work in corporate America, right? So I do my videos, I street teach and all of that. And so I work in networking, computers and all that stuff like that. So one day I come to the job, this Puerto Rican brother, he's like, yo, Tariq, man, they found your videos. They playing them in the conference room. So I have a Jewish owner.
Your Israelite videos.
My Israelite videos. I'm barking and blazing on white people, all that. And so the Jewish owner calls me in the office. We sitting down there talking, and he's like, I saw your videos, on the street. I said, yeah, I do that, outside of work. I don't bring that here. He said, good. He said, you don't bring it here and keep it that way. Because what we do with our economic growth has nothing to do with for my people. So if I can go work in corporate America, I should also be able to go in my neighborhood and wake my people up, get them off of drugs, restore them, build a community. And they don't come. He could have. He could have. If I wasn't good at what I do, he probably would have said, "No, we gotta let you go," or something like that. But I was good at what I do, I think he's gonna say something.
Well, my question is just: we see you guys rocking the 6-pointed star and everything, and a layman's interpretation might be to think that you have issues with Jewish people. Or how do you feel about Jews in general and like the Jewish state of Israel?
Jews in general, or the Jewish man, we look at him as the imposter. He's not the original Jewish man. He's not the only way we can identify who the children of Israel are is to go to the book about the Israelites, which is the Bible. So if you go to the Bible, they don't match the people of the book. The Jewish state became a Jewish state in 1947 after World War II, and they just divided Palestine, which is why they're at war right now. They just divided Palestine and by force created an Israeli state. But that's not their land. I believe there was an Egyptian prime minister that said the Jews left Black and came back white. Nobody believes that they're the people. Helen Thomas, one of the secretaries for the White House, when they asked her, what did she think about the conflict? She says, well, they should go back home. And the reporter's laughing. It's like, what do you mean by that? She said, well, they're from Germany. They're from Poland. They should go back home. They fired her later that day because she told the truth. So they're just not the children of the book. They're the imposters of the book. That's how we look at them.
Why is it that whenever Black people claim their Jewish heritage, they say that is anti-Semitic? We always hear that trope.
Anti-Semitic is a weird term because biblically speaking, Shem, anybody that comes from the man named Shem, that's what Semitic is an English word, right? It's short for Shem. Shem is a man that had children, and they eventually became different tribes. So the Arabs technically are Shemitic. We are Shemitic. Whites are Shemitic. Asians are Shemitic. They're all Shemitic people. The Jewish man, I think in the 1800s, coined the term Semitic to be specifically about them. And it's really...
Right. We gotta talk about that a little bit more. Like he talked about why his Jewish lawyer or manager didn't fire him is because first what he did well, which meant he was bringing in a lot of profits and helping out the company, helping the company to thrive. And then also, like Carlton said, that lawsuit would have been a beast. So yeah, that's all. It was all about the money. It wasn't really no like, oh yeah, man, I really want you to be able to empower your people when you're not here And then when you come in here, just do the job. That's not how it works at any job, really. You just happen to do the job good, so they want to keep you, bro.
A trick bag.
Right.
It's a straight up and down. It doesn't matter what you say. If they deem it as derogatory, it's anti-Semitic, which basically means if you don't say everything out your mouth pro-Jewish, you're anti-Semitic. And the reason why they look at us that way is because they don't want to give what is rightfully ours. So they have to discredit us, because if we are Jews, let's say the Israelis are the Jewish people, and then we lay claim to that, we say we the lost tribes, they would have to by right give us the same things that they're giving their own Jewish people.
Right. Because historically, the person who spread a lot of the knowledge of Judaism into Europe was a black dude named Eldad the Danite. Around the 8th or 9th century, he became a celebrity. He was saying that there was a tribe of Jewish people in East Africa.
Right.
Not too long ago, about a couple of decades ago, they did a DNA test on this tribe in Africa, found out they were really Jews, and they never said anything else about it.
Right.
So it's proven scientifically
that they are. But again, that means
you got a whole
land.
tribe in Africa that was all Jewish.
Yeah,
Right.
Jews.
Right.
And they saying your kind of Jew.
Right, my kind of Jew.
Like
Right, my kind of Jew. Right, Israelite. And so what that means is land, inheritance, the same way, like Jewish people make sure that they stay within their own ecosystem as far as taking care of their own. But now if they recognize the black people that are laying claim to that, they would have to give them the same thing.
Right.
And they're not going to do that.
Right.
Because of course they're not the people, and they just learned to monopolize that term. They've learned to take over and monopolize, and it's really through their military power. I mean, America funds the hell out of them. Even in this Israeli-Pakistani war, if you say, like, they just fired this black woman who was an attorney in New York because she chose to be pro-Palestine. Now, I'm not pro neither, and I pray no black person makes really an opinion. This is their war. This has nothing to do with us. I don't know if y'all heard what Amari Stoudemire said. Did you hear what
he said?
Amari Stoudemire said?
Oh, I did hear what he said. Yeah,
when he said, fuck you to black people that don't support the Israeli people.
That's what you just asked.
Yeah, Amari Stoudemire made a video where he said, if you black and don't support the Israelis, fuck you. That's exactly how he said it.
Right.
And what's weird about that is
he Israelite?
He's a Jewish type of Israelite, though. Like he's like over there, like he wear the black hat and, dress and act just like them. The weird part about the Israeli-Palestine thing is that in war, there's innocence on both sides. When you blowing stuff up, you're not blowing up Hamas. You're blowing up the civilians that have nothing to do with the war. When you do anything to the Israelis, you're not blowing up the enemies.
That's like hitting my neighborhood and thinking everybody Paul Rose.
Exactly. And so the earth wants everybody to have all the compassion on the Israelis, but they don't want them to have any compassion on the Palestinians, which makes no sense to me because it's war. Nobody's innocent. You can't divide a land in half, displace the people that was in there, implant the Israeli people in there, and then expect them to lay down.
They brought a map. They brought a map. Remember in the room.
Right.
And they were showing how much of this used to be Palestine versus how much is just Israel. They've taken the land. And the Palestinians, they were reduced to this little dot over here, right? So when I first was hearing everything, I really wasn't paying any attention. It sounded like the Palestinians was doing all the stuff to people from Israel. Right. Until I went on Clubhouse, and actually, I went to Blue Moon. And the owner of Blue Moon, he's Palestinian. And he said, man, your friend, speaking on the wrong side. Like we talked about. And he started showing me all this stuff. And some dude named Sean King or something.
Tariq's got a lot to say about that.
I don't know.
I'm cool with Sean King.
You cool with Sean King?
So when I go to Sean King's page, right, he's showing what I'm seeing there.
Wait, we're giving him
white. He's white. I don't know. He say he's black, but ain't
no real proof of that though, right?
What this dude is, everything that I thought it was to be, he's showing it was the opposite. So then I started asking questions. So then they like, well, they're controlling the media. They're feeding the media. That is this, that is that, that is this, or is that. And I'm going to be real, quite naturally, I think stuff's been done on both sides.
That's what I'm saying. Like, neither side is innocent. It's a war. You can only fix the problem when the war is over. Unfortunately,
so wrong for standing with his people?
He wrong for saying, if black people don't support the Israelis, fuck you. Like, we just supposed to blindly support the Israelis no matter what. That's like me telling y'all to just support me. Y'all don't know me. If you don't know me and I tell y'all to support me and fuck you if you don't, your first instinct is to say, I'm not supporting you because you're putting me in a...
Also, is that Stoudemire's actual people, or is he just like married into a family or something like that, or he just follows the religion? Because I think somebody was saying that he was like, man, I just want to get me a good Jewish girl or something like that. So in a way, I think he's playing so he can get him some fuasa, and then at the same time, it's like, bro, are you really that?
Either ride or leave position instead of telling me why.
And there's this desperate attempt to drag us black people into that conflict.
Right.
We ain't got nothing to do with none of it, to be honest.
And who fights in our conflict?
Right. Because the black people who are saying something, you got a lot of black people getting fired. Right. Whatever side
that lawyer, that was a $250,000 job she lost just because she expressed an opinion that was more on the Palestinian side than the Israeli side.
Right. A sister who's a professor at a university, she said, hey, I support Palestine. Oop, you're anti-Semitic. She lost her job. So black folks need to stay out of this bullshit.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay out of it or fight to have freedom of speech?
That's a good point. That's a good point. But the thing is, if we're going to do the freedom of speech thing, let it be for something that benefits black society and not these other people. My thing is, because we're fighting for freedom of speech.
A lot of us do business with people, with the Israelis.
But that's the realization that a lot of the white left-leaning liberal people in America had, is that they went all in on BLM, and now they're realizing that a lot of those people from BLM are not so friendly to your Jewish roots as you might have expected.
You talking about the Black Lives Matter movement?
Well, just a lot of like white liberals just got in bed with BLM and assumed that they were going to side with them about everything for all time.
All lives matter. All lives matter. Listen.
Well, I don't like that. Let's talk about that.
Do we got to get some butter biscuits? We got to get some butter biscuits. I come at the studio. We got to get some incredible butter biscuits.
I'm gonna tell you why. If there's a football field,
right,
and every 10 yards is a different race of children, I'm going to tiptoe through that football field the same way, no matter what area I'm in. I'm American.
Right, that's fine.
I believe that what about like black lives are in all lives, is it not?
If I say
in all lives.
Like I don't get that.
When I say all lives matter,
black lives are contained within that. Their argument would be that nobody's ever questioned the white lives matter, but our country has a real serious history of treating black lives like they don't matter.
Well, we have some
white people in this world you don't care for.
No, I mean I'm cool with some white people. We still have white supremacy.
Yeah,
that doesn't change.
Yeah, but fuck them.
No, I mean the system is based on white supremacy. So we're in the system. It's like a jail. We can say fuck the jail, but we still in it.
And that's more so what we be talking about. We talking about the system.
The system, right? It's not an individual.
You would have to destroy the system to really get rid of white supremacy. You can't do that.
Look, man. Y'all got to stop acting like the system in 2023 is the same system in 1820.
Exactly the same.
Wack.
No, it's exactly the same.
Wack.
It's exactly the same.
It's the same system. What's different?
What's opportunity?
No, we have more opportunity back then.
You crazy as hell.
We have more opportunity, less unemployment, more families together.
Out of your mind,
brother. In the 1800s, one of the first black Israelites here in America.
You do well for yourself.
A brother named Frank Cherry. Frank Cherry had 100 acres in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
We were balling out, man. When we were coming out of slavery, they said, "Hey, we got to stop that." That's when they started to impose a lot of stuff. When they saw that we were creating these opportunities for ourselves.
You telling me today, in 2023, the opportunities that we have, the free range we have,
free range to do what, Wack?
Every time I go to do something business-wise, it comes down to the information that I can put down on this application. Me personally, and I've been in some bidding wars with real estate in your backyard, in prominent areas, right? But the information that I put down on this application says I was the best guy for the situation.
But Wack, being in the music industry, you know how it is. An Eazy-E needed a Jerry Heller to get in certain doors.
Okay.
A Dre needed a Jimmy Iovine.
Jerry Heller needed Easy.
He did. And he absolutely did. But with the talent that Eazy and Dre had, Dre needed a Jimmy Iovine. He couldn't get in certain doors without a Jimmy Iovine because they have a system where they have a code.
He was in the door.
Not all the way.
He was in the door.
Not all the way.
So you're saying, but see, this is what I mean. In the all lives matter thing and the opportunity of today, right? We all, in some way, work together. I have the product, you have the machine, right?
But you're more so speaking like from business. Like I think the Black Lives Matter, which is like one of the worst movements I've ever heard of.
It was controlled opposition, man.
What think about is lesbians that
every 10 blacks killed.
I don't really think that that's really a necessary relationship. If it's an art that we created, an art form we created, why should I have to go through Jerry Heller and them just to get it out there? I think we should be able to do it ourselves. And he's only looking at it as money and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just don't agree with it all like that. Like how Wack is saying. Let's see what they're talking about now.
We killing 8 of us.
No, I don't know if I agree with that.
What?
Hell, that's the same number. What? Group. We don't kill each other disproportionately than other groups, man.
Right.
Don't make up in this group. Talking about us.
So that's
but any capitalistic society, there's going to be violence. We're not immune to that. We're not superheroes. You go to the Asian community, they got the Asian mafia.
No, they doing their own thing.
Right. So we are being pointed out like we're just ultra violent, and
we're the only ones. Everybody else, they don't kill nobody, they don't steal, they don't. Only black people do that.
So we're
hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm gonna let you speak now. I got Susan, the white lady you date, on the phone right now. Now, are you gonna say you got love for all lives, or do I gotta put Susan on the phone?
I don't know no Susan.
I'm trolling it.
There is no Susan.
You thought I was gonna propose a brother. You thought I was.
Well, Dr. Umar moment.
I knew he was bullshit. I don't know no Susan. Don't know white.
Hey, look, one thing about that.
You think you're above some good white pussy? I'm telling you, man, it's fire.
Yes.
Come on, you know you didn't have sex with a white woman. I'm gonna be real. I haven't had sex with a white woman.
See, now how you gonna say? How you gonna say you know you had it, but I had to?
I'm gonna tell you what I had. When I was young, I used to watch all these crazy movies. Mississippi Burning, was it Rosewood?
Yeah.
And I had this thing in my head that she was gonna say he raped me, and no matter what I said,
you was going down.
I was going down. So I have a blockage. Is white don't do it. You're not supposed to touch it.
What you need is a witness. I'm willing to sit in a chair in the corner.
Oh, come on. You're gonna be in the next Adam movie.
I thought he learned his lesson fucking with them brothers.
Hey, I don't really believe Wack on that. I think if Wack, because on that last live that we talked about, that we had where Wack was in it, he was talking about how he's getting his groceries ate and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know if I can really believe that he ain't dealt with no white women and all that kind of stuff right there. I don't know if I can really believe that. Wack about to get canceled. He about to get canceled several different kind of ways by the black community, by them folks community, and everybody else. He ain't looking good at all right now in these streets, man. He is not looking good. What's good, CP? How you doing? Hurricane said, how do black people still support Wack? Bro, I don't know. I'm confused as well. Carla came back and said BLM actually heads are white women. They use black women to get black people to follow them. I could definitely see that, because when they start, kind of adding all the extra LGTV stuff in there, and then the way them people, they didn't do anything for the black community at all when they got all that money and stuff. And then also, I noticed that I would see a lot of Black Lives Matter signs outside of rich white people's homes when I'd be like passing through different neighborhoods in Atlanta and stuff like that. Like, this kind of offset. That feels a little performative. And then I would also see 2 old white people. They would sell Black Lives Matter merch on Memorial Drive all the time. And they were making a killing because it seemed like people were just coming over there just buying it up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that Black Lives Matter. I think most of us as black people don't really mess with the organization. We like the sentiment and all that, but the organization is some garbage. Let's get it.
Oh, it's gonna be Wack and Crip Mac running a train with somebody in the movie. Oh, his wheels are spinning.
We all want to see that. No, we don't. No, we don't. No,
he's in LA. The power of group sex.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Y'all don't think that's homosexual?
No. I definitely think that's homosexual.
Like to be in the room while me neither.
You give them motherfuckers high five and all that.
Nah. That's some weird shit to me. I'm sorry. That's weird to me.
Weird.
All got our kicks.
Yo, he I ain't gonna lie.
You know, greatest hits mode again.
So you really think that we don't have opportunity today?
We do. We have opportunity.
But then he was asking a comparison, right?
Right. Yeah, the same opportunity as we had 100, 200 years ago. I mean, we're under the same system.
That's why you disagree with Martin.
Right.
Because you
I
felt
hate
like
Martin, to be
you felt like Martin.
Martin Luther King.
Really? You didn't like
For real.
Because
it was everywhere.
when you look at segregation, right?
Mhm.
So life before segregation was better. We had our own school system, and then uppity black folks wanted white education. So now you got brown versus board education, which disannulled the black school system. If you go economically, you take what's that? The Negro League is a good example. The Negro League. Think about a baseball team, right? Take Yankee Stadium, right? Well, what's out here? The Dodgers.
Mhm.
So take the Dodger Stadium. If you go to watch the baseball game, you're gonna get hungry. So you're gonna patronize the restaurants.
Mhm.
You're gonna buy the memorabilia for the people that you like. You're gonna do all of that. So that's what we had with the Negro League.
Yeah.
And because we wanted to hit the white baseball, we went, and the owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers said he was using integration if we fought back about taking their best players. So they took.
Man, CP, that's a good point. You know what that reminds me of? You know that story in the Bible where they say that the parents would put the blood of a lamb on the door to protect their firstborn or something like that from like whatever little spirit was coming in and ending their life or something like that. That's what I looked at it as when white people put the Black Lives Matter in front of their house. Like you said, it's like an ADT sign. Like it would really be out there in front like that. It would definitely be like that for real. Shout out to Jab Bad, the European. Hey, it done came out several times already. It's been coming out. And also, this is indeed a weirdo panel for sure. Indeed. But let's keep it going.
Satchel Paige, Jackie Robinson, Josh Gibson. And he said, if they fight us, we'll say, don't y'all want to integrate? And so the American baseball's agenda was to destroy the Negro League.
Mhm.
And in destroying the Negro League, you didn't just destroy the baseball team, you destroyed the surrounding businesses. So when I mean by segregation, I'm not talking about no interaction with white people. That's not what I mean. But segregation is creating the same cocoon I said them Jewish people have. Jewish people have their own cities. Chinese people have their own cities. They're in their own. Jewish people have their own hospitals, fire departments. They have their own police department, and nobody says nothing. So that same cocoon is what we would have had while we were segregated. And we would still have the same problems. When we talk about in 2023, and you say the opportunities, and you say they're better, you say they're the same. I agree that they're the same, but what we lost in the opportunity is our family structure, education, and economic priority.
And going to the Board of Education, that Brown case, initially, they were trying to get resources for black schools.
Mhm.
They didn't want to integrate. They didn't want to go to white
Right.
schools. The NAACP came in, which was white run at the time.
Right.
It's still white run, by the way.
I think it was founded by them.
It was.
Right.
They had a guy named Spingard who was the president at the time.
Mhm.
They went in and said, hey, forget the money. Let us just go to the schools. Let blacks go to schools with whites. And that never really worked because when blacks tried to go to schools, they just started putting black people in special education.
Can I give you a horror story?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Little Rock 9, I know you're familiar with
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right? Little Rock 9, for those that don't know, is when they took 9 black kids and sent them to Little Rock. That's that picture with Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
You know that picture with Jerry Jones where they showing them hosing? That's in Arkansas, right? Little Rock 9, they take them 9 kids and send them to school. They send them, National Guard got to protect them. They go through hell. The lady is like maybe 25, 30 years old. They're interviewing her and they asked her what was her experience. And she said the experience was real rough. The white kids, they used to bully me, they used to pick on me, and I couldn't fight back with them. But when I went home, I used to beat up my little brother. Because when you get oppressed, you have to channel that anger somewhere. So she channeled that anger out on her brother. Now, amplify that with black people and trying to integrate when you don't even have power to say no. As the NAACP is saying, let's go into them white schools and just go to their school. We don't have power to tell whites we don't want to learn this because we ain't established ourselves yet. We're only like 40, 50 years removed from slavery. What power do we have? Now, we got power to sit down at the table. Like other nations have power. Even though when the towers fell, even though they so-called like war with Afghanistan, the average was not profiled.
Right.
Nothing was done to them.
No, they was profiled.
Hell, where?
For a quick minute.
They was profiled. When you go to the airport, see somebody with the thing on?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying my profile, that's probably black people doing that because we
white people saw them turbans.
Yeah, it wasn't easy being Middle Eastern in America for a few years.
What I mean by profile is like,
you know what's funny during that time when during the whole 9/11 situation, like me and my mom we'll be going to, like me and my mom and my sisters will be going out of town or something, and you know they started doing like the special checks and all that. We would always get picked for the special checks. It would be a whole line of white families and all that, but they'll somehow pick us. So it is kind of odd, like, you know, like they're the main culprits of that, but somehow they were still picking out, are you black and you traveling? Yeah, we got a reason to go and check you now. We want to check you.
They wasn't getting pulled over and suspected. Hey, you got a bomb in the car?
No,
like how we got guns in the car.
Right,
that's what I mean when I say profile. So we lost so much in the middle of building ourselves up. Integration comes, and then now in 2023, we lost so much in that gap. That's why I say that segregation was better. It's not that we shouldn't, like we're in America, like Wack said, we're in America, so we're in a melting pot of different ethnicities. So we're going to have to function within those ethnicities, but there should be a code of ethics that equal within those ethnicities. I shouldn't have a fair advantage over a white man just because I'm black, but he shouldn't have that same advantage over me.
Now, I agree that we should have kept a lot of things within our communities during the Jim Crow era.
Right.
The segregation thing, I understand why they fought against it, because we needed to be able to move around freely. Because we are taxpayers, our dollars go to fund all of these things within society. We should be able to go across state lines or wherever without having to worry about getting shot.
Like sundown town. Like
so I can understand why they were fighting against that. The reason why they said, we'll let you guys into some of our stores, because they didn't really let us into their communities. They created white suburbs and led to there and left us in the inner cities and took the tax brackets with them. They said, you're going to have to give up all of your businesses if we're going to do this integration thing. And that was the trick bag we fell for.
Right, exactly. Giving up. Like if we could have kept it, then maybe it could work.
Right. And also, you know, they would do stuff like build these freeways all over the country within our communities. LA, Central Avenue. That 110 took a whole lot of area.
Oh, that was used to be a
prosperous area. That 110 took it out. And Crenshaw, they put that train down Crenshaw. That's destroying Crenshaw now. The 110, I mean, the 10 freeway, it goes over an area that was Sugar Hill. That was a prosperous black area. They put it there to destroy the area. So they designed
not too far from what they called the Black Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that's the same area.
So that's what I mean when I say.
Can I throw out a topic? So I think a lot of white parents in particular in America in this day and age are concerned that when they send their kid off to school, that the school is going to have been captured by some of the wacky woke ideas of the time, and that your 4-year-old kid is going to be taught by a Robin DiAngelo or a Ibram X. Kendi type character who basically is going to teach your kid to be solely obsessed with race. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I see the way that she is completely oblivious to race, and sometimes it occurs to me that until the world perverts her mind and makes her, start to think about other races as fundamentally different, that stuff is just not going to seep into her brain. So when you bring up like critical race theory, I think, a lot of parents, maybe some of them have been kind of brainwashed by the media, but it does seem like kind of a reasonable concern that as a reaction to, traditional American racism, that a lot of, schools and institutions and stuff have just gotten to the point where they think that the cure for racism is to obsess over it and to teach kids that their identity is the most important thing about them. And I think a lot of people, white and black, find this idea kind of disturbing. So
the narrative, because I hear this from a lot of white people, we don't want our kids to get the woke knowledge. They don't need to know anything about race. It's woke CRT. And let me tell you something. I have little children and they be on these Xbox games and there's 4- and 5-year-old white kids yelling nigga, nigga, nigga at the top of their lungs all the time. White children are taught in the home about white supremacy. They know anti-black racism early on. So in schools, we should have a counter to that. We should talk about the black experience and how to counter anti-black racism, not to ignore it because it's being taught already. Also, the CRT thing, they say, well, it's going to teach white kids to feel guilty about themselves. For years, we've been reading about how black people were nothing but slaves. White people did everything for us. We had to beg for justice. We had to do all this. And we're taught inferiority in schools all the time. So we should have a counter to teach that stuff.
But I definitely agree.
What do you guys think? Should parents start homeschooling their kids more? I know that's not a possibility for everybody because there's a lot of time and money that's involved with that. But do you guys think that that would be the only answer because these people aren't going to listen? Or do you think you get sent on a private school and that'd be better because you have a slightly more of a handle on what goes into your child's brain? Or do you think that we just got to get these folks to act right? Let me know.
We shouldn't be teaching kids that black people were inferior or slaves or whatever. Like, I feel like if anything, we should be teaching kids that they are not guilty of the sins of their fathers and that your racial group, that you shouldn't be held liable for things that happen.
Right. You know what else we've been doing? Right. But history is history. If you tell history,
but guess what they've been doing?
Right. But
these dummies, right? If you go ask your nieces and nephews, The stuff we was taught, the little stuff we was taught in school, they don't teach it anymore. And then they over here advocating to have these statues taken down. They're letting them erase it.
Right.
So if these statues are down, you're not teaching it in school. The parents are at home working 2 jobs because the cost of living is crazy, right? The children being raised, they know nothing about how we were oppressed.
Right.
Keep them statues up. Mommy, what's that? That's Robert E. Lee. Right. He was a goddamn plantation owner. What's a plantation? That's where they had the slaves. People that look like me and you, and they forced them to do this, that, and another. They are allowing them to strategically erase it. And we sitting here saying, yeah, take down the statues.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's a part of American history.
But are they going to put up a statue of Farrakhan and say, hey, we're going to keep that statue up?
They're not going up. That's not going up.
Right.
They're not, but
because they know that it sends a certain message. You put up a statue of somebody, that's an honor.
It's already
honoring somebody.
But it's up.
But the thing is, if you put up a statue of a white supremacist, because that's what these statues are built for,
that's cool.
To honor white supremacy. What's the message you're trying to send if you're going to put that statue up?
So what did we just erase? See, the way you're looking at it is...
Wack, you're not making any sense. Wack has got that dumb hood guy skewed reality of what he thinks is good and bad. Bro, just take the statues down. We learned about it in school. You don't really need to see a statue. I didn't need to know that there's a Robert E. Lee statue or whatever to know that he was part of this side and that side and he did this and that. I don't need to see that statue, dog. And him erasing, y'all can just tell me what the deal was. I don't need to see the statue. So what is he talking about? You're erasing history. You're erasing history. That's part of our history here in America. That's not a good history. Yeah, man.
How they want us to see it. Yeah, we're taking it down. You're right. It's wrong. But now that they took it down, there is never a conversation or a thought to our youth that what this man was, what he represented, because
when we're taking it down, we can tell them why we're taking it down.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I agree. But after it's taken down, what policies are being put in place for the crimes of the fathers? Like if today's white folk want black folk to look at it better, you have to make amends for it. I'm gonna use the Jewish people again. The Jewish people, part of the reason they divided Palestine in half is because after what Hitler did to them, they didn't want to leave them people there because of the traumatic event. Yet 2 million, they say 2 million Jews, or 2 million or 6 million, 6 million Jews, they say died because of the Holocaust. So of course you're not gonna leave them in Germany. We got to put them somewhere else so that they can get over this traumatic.
Shout out from downtown, man. Wack name is Wack for a reason, man. Shout out to downtown from downtown for the $2, man. I appreciate it. And then also Hurricane makes a great, puts it out here, man. Wack museums exist. They do exist. So we don't really need all that extra. We don't need all that extra. CP says we should keep the statues because we need to learn America wasn't the good guys. How do you guys feel about that? I guess that's kind of along, that might be along the lines of what Wack is saying, but it didn't sound like that's what he's saying. It sounded like he's just saying, yeah, keep the statues up because it's just history. It's just history. But then again, even still, when you keep the statues up to know that America wasn't the good guys, these people still don't play fair about it. So I don't know about that. Carla said you're your child's first teacher started at age 2 and they never stopped learning. I agree with that, man. I ain't getting ready to have nobody watching no LGTV friendly shows or nothing like that. You can learn about that later down the road, significantly later down the road, and then you'll decide all that other stuff. Yeah, we're gonna make sure we get you clean, get you some clean learning out here in these streets. But let's get it.
Big event. Whereas the white people in America want us to forget and not talk about race, but they have done nothing for us to get over such a traumatic event. So they don't want us to talk about it. They want to erase the statues. They don't want to change no policies, but they're not doing anything for accountability. And that's what presents the greatest problem for us in America. It's like you want us to get over the mounds and mounds and mounds and mounds of oppression that you put over us, but you've done nothing to take the mound away.
Right.
So I think if we can get to that point, then maybe the Israelites won't be as mad at y'all because then we ain't gonna have no talking points now. But y'all refuse. When I'm saying y'all, not you, of course. But white people refuse to take accountability. They just want words. They just want to remove the statue. So your memory. In some history books, they don't call it the transatlantic slave trade. They call it the transatlantic migration.
Right. They're trying to.
So in a minute, ain't gonna be no slavery.
Right.
Is that what I'm saying?
In a minute, we're gonna be battling against people enslaved in America.
It's important to push back on that because what happens is they start making it seem like slavery wasn't that bad, and not only was it not bad, it helped y'all niggas. Yeah. So it gets into that.
That's interesting that you brought that up, Carlton, man, because the left is very Decepticon, man. Whenever I think of Democrats now, I automatically think of deception. And I think you're right, man. The left wanted the statues down. And like Carla and everybody saying, like, man, you know, they're making sure we don't forget if we keep the statues up. But they're also taking Aunt Jemima off the syrup bottle and all that kind of stuff to kind of make it seem like, oh yeah, they didn't have no black people being maids and watching the whole family and cooking up and breastfeeding the babies and stuff. We just made pancakes one day and we were just good at it, goddamn. That's what it was, goddamn. And then like you also said, the right wants to remove black history. So that's a tough one, man. Like we're in a tough situation right here, man, on this next upcoming election, man. Yeah, man, we're between a rock and a hard place, man. The Democrats have shown us how they feel, man, with their neglect and their and then even the way that they're doing certain things against us, like with the immigrants and all that kind of stuff. And then the righteous blatantly out here like, yeah, well, slavery was great. It was good for people. It was good for black people. That's why they're here today and they learn the things they learned today. And then you got people like Vivek Ramaswamy and CP said he don't think Vivek is racist, but I think he's absolutely unequivocally a racist out here in these streets. What do y'all think? Jab Bass says only if someone is there to explain it, they're not the good guys. Okay, so yeah, you say keep the statues, but somebody has to explain it. Like if they had the statue, they have to say, yeah, this is the man right here that was he was a terrible human. He held slaves, and he helped the Confederate Army. That'd be what we need to put under the statue. CP said the Israelite guy made a point. They're changing words. You're right. Val says I found a great weekend Saturday program when my son was 13. It's called African Genesis. It taught him about the great African empires and slave trade and Jim Crow. It brought that's good. I think that's necessary, actually. I think that's necessary. Also, our kids should be uncomfortable. They made our kids uncomfortable with history all the time. School was challenging for your belief. Yeah, that's real. That's pretty real, actually. CP said, I had to bring it up, man. I'm sorry. Hurricane said no more statues, but taking them down doesn't take away history. That's real. Let's keep it going.
Saying in Florida, they're trying to say that we benefit from
Florida, right.
You know, so now that gets into dangerous territory.
Right.
I mean, is it a lie?
Oh, Wack.
But to you with the children.
Wack. Wait, hold on.
Is it a lie?
Wack, did we say better?
Is it a lie?
Did we benefit from slavery, Wack?
Is it a lie?
Did we benefit from slavery, Wack?
Slavery was horrific.
You explain it, Wack.
Listen, a horrific thing that happened to our people.
Did we benefit?
And I say this,
Wack, explain it.
I'm talking to the people that are still participating in some of the things I used to participate in.
Right.
Our people went through these things.
Right.
They went through them from the worst to the segregated times. They went through these things, right? For us to get to where we're at today. Right? Am I right?
They sacrificed.
They sacrificed, right? So where we're at today, right? You don't think that had to happen for us to get here because of how we was brought here?
Man,
see, you said we was already here.
Yeah, many of us were already here.
Okay, so I guess they kind of took control and did what they want to do, right?
Right.
So you don't think all these things had to happen for us to be where we're at today? For you to even have the...
That's not a benefit. That was something that we had to create on our own. The Foundation of Black Americans. Nobody ever gave us anything. Other groups came over here and benefited right off the rip. The minute they got opportunity.
They gave it eventually.
Well, hell, we had to take the opportunity.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, let's be real. Everything that we created was something that
wasn't given. It was forced.
We had to do it because of the movement behind. Even like with hip hop music, man, that was because of deprivation. We couldn't go to music schools. We couldn't go to dance schools. We couldn't afford instruments. So hell, let's go to the park,
get the buckets,
get buckets, and just
even with that. That's why the Birdmans, and I don't really fuck with him, but the Suge Knights, the Master P's, the Irv Gottis. That's why they were like very important,
right?
Because at one time they were paying guys 30 cents. I remember seeing an alcoholic check. You know, J. Rose from McCormick. It was like there were literally 3 of them breaking up 30 cents. But guys like Birdman and Slim and Suge turned that 30 cents into 30%.
Okay.
And since then it has risen.
Right.
In some cases like Birdman, 80, 85. Me personally, I've never been nothing less than 50%.
Okay.
Right. So you're right. And it took Suge going in there, the way he went in there, demanding how he demanding, for them to say, okay, these Negroes finna start acting crazy, man. You know, let's get what they want. We already making trillions, you know.
Right.
So I get that. You're right. You're right. Right on that.
But I would never say we better because of slavery, because we would have to just look at our living conditions prior to see. I was debating this white guy. He said, he asked a similar question. I said, well, can you explain to me how we was better? And he said, a 2-story building and flushable toilet water, like having that system. He said that made it better for us. And it's weird when you say that because it's almost they're almost desensitized to what our culture, way of life, or lifestyle was prior to colonization. So you would have to ask the people before they were colonized, do we need to be colonized to see if it was better? Because to endure colonization, there's a lot of murder, raping, slaving, killing. There's a whole lot that comes with everything that we have here today. So in today's times, it's hard to fathom it because, of course, we got vehicles, we got technology, we got all this real water, if you want to call it that, instead of faucet water. So, of course, in our mind, we say, it's better now. But you would have to put us in that time where there wasn't no technology. There wasn't a movement like you see now, and then see if it was better. And I wouldn't think it was better.
Right, and Black people bringing a lot of technological advances to Europe. You have the Moors, and they brought in the science and mathematics and architecture.
Right,
there.
Absolutely.
So the benefit was other people benefiting from the things that Black people bring.
And which really, I know you were going to say something, but which really, all races should be able to come together for that economic benefit.
American way.
It shouldn't be. No, American way is The Europeans dominate everybody else taking shit, and then we set precedents what you get.
The American way of today.
That's the same American way.
Let's talk about it. That's real. That's a great point. Old school. Shout out to you, man. He said white Americans and white immigrants benefited off the Homestead Act. That's a great point. Everything we did, we got out the mud. We had to figure it out. So I don't think that anything about the slavery helped us in any way. And then on top of that, they came and gave all the white people handouts just to further, I guess, stretch the gap between us having any type of riches out here in these streets, man. The Homestead Act, when they just gave everybody land and houses and whatever, and they didn't include us in that. So yeah, handouts on handouts. They didn't help us at all. CB said there was many enslaved, educated, and creative people before they were slaves. People, exactly. None of that crap has helped. But let's get it.
Come together. What you was about to say.
What I was going to say was we should be able, all races should be able to come together economically, whatever resources you have, build them together. And then if all four of us represent different ethnicities, if you go empower yours, it shouldn't be a big deal. Nope. If I empower mine, if you empower yours, but it shouldn't be at the expense of me doing harm to you.
No, you're right.
But that's the only difference that I would see.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but even the Bible, the Bible, the religious people, they talk.
Religion and the Bible different.
They taught that violence was the way.
No, that's why I say religion and the Bible.
It ain't been more killings. The most killings ever in the history of the world is religious wars.
Absolutely, because see what they take with the Bible, you got them Christian thumpers, the Muslims. They take that Bible and it's like believe in this God or you die. That's not in the Bible. The God of the Bible never said kill these people for not believing in me. Never said that. But Christians or the Crusades would push it in that way. Like if you want to talk about historically, Christians like the worst murderers ever. They killed Christ too. I mean, I can go on and on. So when it comes to Christianity, yes, but when it comes to the Bible, no. The Bible would be the solution for everything.
They just don't follow it. They put their own twist.
They put their own twist to it. Correct. And Islam does
selective politicking.
Exactly.
It's a lot of that goes on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so
whoever gets the popularity vote.
Whoever got the greatest sword. You got the greatest sword, you can set precedents.
He's got a hell of a sword.
What the fuck you mean?
I've heard.
Because you be saying some weird shit.
Nigga, Adam trying to get you in a movie.
What you talking about?
Put you in the trick bag.
He's trying to get you in the
I don't want to go
Halloween's here, trick or treat.
Yeah.
He's talking about the bag of candy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all go down that road, man.
No,
I don't mind the road, but
I've been trying to spare him.
I see, because it's like 2 times now.
No, bro, like, Adam, I'm gonna tell you. Me and your wife, before it was your wife, we used to date, bro.
Really? I'm okay with that.
I'm not giving you no details.
That's just fine.
I'm not giving you no details.
Yeah, that's probably
right. Yeah, I'm not, she was cool people. And, that's why when we ran into each other and you acted like you were introducing us.
I knew there was something going on there. All right. I have a question. There's a guy, Coleman Hughes, is a black guy, did a TED Talk recently, and I guess they almost didn't put it out because the theme of the TED Talk was colorblindness. He's basically just advocating for a world in which, race is less of a factor, in which we advocate for people to, identify with their race less, and basically saying that if we want society to truly prosper, we basically have to get as far past race as possible. And the TED Talk, committee or whatever.
Yeah, so he really wants people to stop crying about reparations.
Well, he's basically saying, but he was treated.
He wants people to stop crying about reparations.
He was treated like this was like full on hate speech by the TED Talk.
Wack, you're not funny, dog. That was not funny, dog. You thought she was really hitting the joke right there, bro. Look at Tariq's face right there. Hey, Tariq wants to say a lot more than he's saying right now. he already let out a butter biscuit joke on him, and then Wack over there he's just like the old retarded grandpa that think he be saying something clever, but it's like you're just annoyed at him. Like you got them old retarded uncles that like they just do too much. Even when you get older, you don't never like them. Like you got them uncles that when you're younger you don't like them because the way they act and all that. You're a kid, you don't understand them, they don't understand you. But then when you get older, it's like you start to like them. Wack is the one uncle that you just never like, bro. He just never gets right. He's always ignorant to the point where it's like, bro, it's a little too much. You killing me. You're killing the whole everything, the vibe in the room. And nobody likes you. Nobody likes when you come to the function, bro. So stay home. Wack is that guy. Even this dude got on this fake smile like, bro, what you talking about, Wack? Shut up.
Committee or whatever.
Right. No, who Coleman Cruz is? I know who he is.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah. What do we think of this mentality, and do we agree?
No, I'm an American.
Because as white people, we're very much encouraged to not emphasize or be proud of or take any kind of identity with our whiteness, right? So it's like he's right.
Extending
that to the rest of the world.
White.
Right?
Oh, you saying when you say take no identity of whiteness, you mean not be proud to be white? Like, what is that?
UFC fighter Cain Velasquez, he has a huge tattoo across his chest that says brown pride.
Okay.
And
so y'all don't
it's hard not to think that like if it was a white guy and it said white pride, it'd be very, very different.
What's white pride?
It definitely has a bad brand, that's for sure.
See, that's the thing. Whenever y'all start saying white pride or what, somebody has to die. And all of a sudden, somebody's going to die.
So you can put black pride, brown pride,
right?
But then white pride means something negative.
Black pride, it ain't violent. It's just like, hey,
it's not violent, and it's a counter.
Right, it's a counter.
So are you saying some white people can't be prideful for being white and not be saying, I'm identifying?
Who are you sending the message to? Because we already know you dominate us. So who's oppressing you? Who's the message for?
Yeah,
to themselves.
They already know. So when they say white pride, that's letting other people know something else. White pride means, hey, we got to get on code against somebody.
And white people don't even have to say white pride.
Right.
Meaning,
that's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you why. They say it by that very Negro League that I was talking about. You know how they say white pride? Jackie Robinson and all of them left to go hit that baseball because they wanted acceptance.
We cry too much.
No, hear what I'm saying?
People cry too much.
If you take 300 years of oppression, and during that 300 years, I ain't falling for it. But during that 300 years, right? Black people are told we come from monkeys, we apes, we don't know nothing. So black pride stems from the results of white pride. Mm-hmm. So now we have to tell people, like they tell blacks invented this. Black was the first heart surgery. You know why they're saying that? Because in history, black people are taught we didn't do nothing. So we have to instill black pride into black children. White folk don't need pride instilled in them because they're not taught that they didn't do anything.
They are new white kids born every day.
And their brain functions that I know it.
Why can't they be taught to have white pride? As if our kids are taught to have black pride.
You're taught that every day as a white kid by the privileges and the
right. You're taught that every day. In the world, the United States and the world is pretty much is built surrounded by you. I mean, I guess built for you. In your in your image in a way in some places and all that kind of stuff. And everybody likes to toot up for you. You go over to Asia, they trying to be like you and keep themselves out the sun and put themselves on the umbrellas. You even got Africans putting whitening cream on, Caribbeans are putting whitening cream on. You might even have a couple of Black Americans, unfortunately, that might do it. I think that's a rare occurrence. But yeah, man, they already know it, and this guy already broke it down to Wack. Wack's still acting like an idiot, like he needs to question it further. They taught us that we were coming from monkeys, that we were basically monkeys. We're stupid. We haven't done anything. We haven't invented anything. That we only were slaves. That we never fought back during slavery. That we never had any of these different towns that they came and they ransacked and massacred all the people out of. So yeah, that's kind of necessary. And he said it like he said, it's a direct result of them putting their white pride out there.
The advantages and benefits you get as a white person.
Hold on. My daughter ain't never had a sidewalk in front of her house. I'm just being real. Right? So she was privileged and had advantages.
But the norm for the Black community is bricks in front of it or abandoned house next. You can't go to this store because if you go to this store,
are we scared that if they say white pride that
no, I don't think it's a matter of are we scared if they say it. It's just an unnecessary trope to actually say.
But we can say it, but they can't.
Ours is a counter. Ours is to uplift. Like Black people, like the Black man has been beaten down to powder. And so how do you build him up? You have to inspire him. You know, when they tell stories of like the wars that they won and conquered this and they have Memorial Day and stuff like that, we don't have those days.
I believe all people should have the opportunity to be prideful of who they are. Armenian pride,
right?
Brown pride, which represents the Latin brothers. Black pride, white pride. I mean, everybody's not on.
So what are you proud of? What are you taking pride in?
Of being a white man.
Okay, what is being a white person mean?
A Black person is taking pride.
We're not just saying we're
not taking pride in just being Black. We're taking pride in recognizing the accomplishments that Black people have done.
Right, like we created music.
So if a person wants to be a doctor and all they were taught was that only white people were doctors or Arabs were doctors, and we can show them, no, these Black people were doctors, it's inspiring. When white children grow up, their inspiration is drawn from the history they know of their ancestors. We don't have a glorified history to draw from unless we teach it. So our pride is drawn from that. That's where it comes from. So now when you learn, that's what's so important about Black schools not getting destroyed, because then we would have never, we would have no need for Black pride.
So when people won the Olympics and they sat up there on the podium and put that Black fist in there.
That's right.
How did that make you feel?
That was inspiring.
Okay. So why, if a Caucasian individual was standing on the podium, that same fist couldn't be inspiring to that people?
Who's oppressing him? Why is his fist up?
Why were you even talking about oppression? It was a goddamn rape.
He wouldn't be able to get up there anyway because he ain't got the genetics for it. But yeah.
What does the fist symbolize in that moment?
Power.
But that's what it symbolized. That's what it symbolized. Because during that time, there was a master race. And we were the inferior race.
Talking about motherfucking race over at the Olympics.
Yeah, that's no master. I thought you saw about that picture when the brother put the.
But still,
that's during the time where we're supposed to be inferior.
So you're saying today
they don't do that.
They only a Hispanic or Black can be prideful who they are? Is that what you're saying?
And I forget where it was.
Are you saying only a Hispanic or Black can be prideful who they are?
Well, the dominant society, no, they're already prideful about who they are.
They know already. So they're the only one that can say it or symbolize it.
No, I'm not saying that.
When a white person does it, it's negative.
Because what are they doing it for? Usually when somebody emphasizes their white.
Didn't Wack get into a fight with two white pride guys himself actually in the parking lot? They tried to jump him and they was gonna hit him with that Sauce of Santana when they finished him off. And he's sitting there asking all these dumbass questions. But let's get it.
What are you doing it for, white guy?
What if I said, I'm very, very proud of being Italian or French? That's like a lot less offensive, right? Yeah, because it's like a much more specific group of people. Whereas like me feeling some sort of unity with like some guy from Poland, which I don't, but it's like, what the fuck do I have in common with him besides the fact that our skin colors are
right? So that's more so. See how he was specific. Right. So even when the black pride is usually followed up by specifically what they're prideful for. If they're
that's real. Yeah, when you're talking about Black history, you're talking about specific accomplishments that Black people in America have made, despite all the different challenges and silly circumstances that we were put through. Not that hard to get, Wack. You obviously weren't that smart as you claim that you were, but let's get it.
Prideful for an accomplishment, because now you can teach that to the children. Black children need something to look to. So we have to instill that pride for them to look up and look up to.
And the pride is based on something that was done.
That's not a babysitting, because listen, Jewish people keep their history, whites keep their history. 4th of July is inspiring. When the rockets, red glare, we knew that our flag was still there. That's inspiring.
The bomb bursting.
Yeah, damn right.
Can't do that one.
He's that one. I just inspired him. So now,
Wack was saying that at a MAGA rally some goddamn way. He was at a MAGA rally saying that same shit.
I'm gonna be real. Yeah, definitely for Trump. Trump gonna get the economy back right. So listen, as a businessman,
I'm not mad at proof that a white man could be a criminal and still run for president.
No, that's the rules, bro. If Obama was in the situation and it was the same thing, that's bro. Okay. You know, for one, Obama should have never been in anyway. He only won.
Obama did nothing for black people
because he was black. He went in there and approved same-sex marriage and all that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right?
Detriment to
no,
black
that was what he did. Right. But what I'm saying is this: I feel like I feel like that where we're at today, that our people could hit the same playing field and we can win. I feel like that. Maybe
if you take all races at the same playing field,
or we can be competitive.
It'd be a landslide.
I think we can be competitive. So I'll be like, yo, listen, stop using this, using that. If we win, we win. If we fell short, we fell short. But I think we're very competitive. I think we're in position as far as our relationships with everybody overall in business. Right. I look at people like the LeBron James and even the Kanyes and I look at certain people and see how they move and how they do business. The Nick Cannons, a very quiet but very successful brother, right? I look at these kind of people, the Floyd Mayweathers. You know, a lot of them skyscrapers over there, he in business. He in business like New York, right? So I look at these people and I say, you guys will say, well, we just need to do business with each other. No. Let our people hit the playing field and do the business they need to do as a black man or woman, right? And then we tally it up. I just like at today's time, I don't want them to say, well, you only got there because of affirmative action. No, fuck that. Stop giving us handouts. Right. So I think we can compete.
Right. So like, I got my business. I tell you all the time. So I have a bodybuilding and oil business for like 4 years. It's pretty successful. You know what I'm saying? I actually got some here for you, and I got some in here right
I'm dry as fuck. That sounds great.
No, it's crazy.
I can show you real quick.
It's crazy.
You can smell it if you want.
I can't find it.
Wait, this for women.
I had to get on him. Oh, good. All you Israelites, this power rule. I had to get on the Israelite to put his stuff on Amazon. Goddamn it. Okay. I know some of y'all think I ain't worth nothing, but my one West Cats, you know, he tend to listen to me a little bit.
The reason I got on him, so I've been on Etsy for like 3 years, and then Wack was like, "Why you ain't get on Amazon?" And I had tried it before and then stopped. But once he said it,
on your Twitter, I started saying shit.
So once he said it, I said, "Damn, why didn't I get on Amazon?" So I got on Amazon, trademarked the name, and then I sell on Amazon and stuff now too. But now, in dealing with Amazon, I got to deal with other races. The product that I get comes from other races. So I'm never saying that we shouldn't do business with each other, but there also has to be a sense of loyalty that we have to each other economically, which we don't have. Like the dollar runs out. Like you can't, that whole terminology about the dollar leaving the black community, you're never going to defeat that because we don't run like electricity, internet, and stuff like that. But from a business perspective, we should support each other a little more. I think that's where we kind of fail. So no, I'm not saying we shouldn't do business with other nations, but we should have some sense of loyalty to each other at the same time.
I totally agree with that. I'm actually thinking about Coleman Cruz. Now, Coleman Cruz, you know, he's Puerto Rican. He's not even foundational Black American. And he's employed by these little white supremacist think tanks. So they give him talking points and they push him out there. He went to one of the reparations hearings to talk against reparations. So he's a puppet of white supremacy. So I don't take anything he says seriously.
I gotta look into all that.
Oh, yeah.
Coleman Cruz. So
Coleman Hughes.
His middle name is Cruz. Coleman
Cruz. That's what I was like.
I thought you were just clowning him.
No. That's his real name. He hides his real last name. Puerto Rican.
So his last name is Cruz.
Is his daddy Puerto Rican?
I don't know. He's Puerto Rican. I know that.
Yeah, well, Puerto Ricans is all right with me. But as long as they ain't saying no stupid stuff.
As long as they ain't breakdancing.
My guy Hefe. Shout out to my guy Hefe. My guy Hefe. Puerto Rico.
He's not qualified for reparations here. So he should be speaking on right from
how you talking about for the U.S.
Right. Because he's not even qualified in speaking on reparations.
You think that'll ever happen?
It'll happen.
What,
Reparations. Yeah,
It's gonna have so many restrictions on it.
Oh no, that's why we got it on the grassroots. We got to stand on it. It's gonna happen because look, man, they're already paying a form of reparations and containing us. The police, they give these people billions of dollars to keep us subjugated. Reparations already being thrown out the window. It has to be given to us directly. You understand?
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys think it's gonna go about happening? Do you think it will happen like Tariq says? Like I like the faith that he has in it, but I want to know, how do you guys think it will actually happen? Do you think that one day these people are gonna just decide to play fair and they're gonna be like the Grinch? His heart grew 10 sizes too big, and he started being a good person. Or do you think it's gonna have to be like some tactical force sales of black people out here that's that's going in there to take that thing? Or do you think that I don't know, one day we're gonna get the messiah of white people that's gonna come in and be the president, and he's gonna be like, well, I see everybody as really equal. I'm really a good guy like that, and I want to make sure that they get their reparations because it hasn't been done the way it should be done. What do you guys think?
What about you guys getting the vaccines early? Those reparations, right?
Shit. They were saying that. They were saying that.
Right. I remember.
They were saying,
I feel like they offended everybody with that.
Yeah,
white people were pissed.
You guys get the shots first. I'm like, what the fuck?
Turns out we don't want to know that.
We don't want them.
Right.
I didn't even know they said that.
Yeah.
Captain Josiah, what is the name of your product?
Oh, thanks, man. So I have these oils too. These are men oils. I'm gonna leave these.
That body butter is amazing.
Yeah, body butter. I also sell it for women too. So this is a body butter that'll replace your lotion.
Oh, you got 11 R&B body butter too?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. We're supposed to finalize that too.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get that going.
But I have this on my website, callgas.com. You can find me on Amazon. I can sell it. I brought this here for No Jumper, for Wack, and Tariq. So this for men and women to get y'all in the game with the women.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, definitely. Yo, Adam, listen. Don't go using that on no freaky shit, bro.
I know.
But if you want to promote it.
Listen, okay, so
what's the name of it again?
Call Gas.
No, what's the name of your company?
That's the name of the company, Call Gas.
Call Gas.
Call Gas is the name of the company. I sell the body butters for.
All right, so I'm gonna have to go and end this guy up here, man. I'm gonna have to end this guy right here. If y'all want to go and finish the rest of the show, it's you guys see the title right here, the Adam and Wack Show 14, number 14 with Tariq Nasheed and Captain Tazaryak. Obviously, it's on No Jumper and all that kind of stuff. If you want to go get the body oils and rub on your ladies, you can go on what do you call it, gas or something like that? I don't know. You can get that and rub it on your lady. You can get the regular shea butter and put it on your legs if you ashy. But yeah, I see we got different thoughts about the reparations. CP says reparations is dead. What's the name? Dre D. I think he said we're gonna have to use we're gonna be buying some votes and all that kind of stuff. Forrest says we're gonna have to put the country in a chokehold of some kind in order to get the reparations. Carlton says if they do give us reparations, they'll make sure it benefits them more than us. I could definitely see that. I could see the value of the dollar falling tremendously, and then they start divvying up the reparations. Like the value of the dollar falls so far, like we're basically like running around here, third world country shouted when we go to another country or something like that, and it's like reparations are pretty much useless. That's how I kind of see it. Hurricane said he don't like Wack. I agree. I don't like that guy either. He's pretty dumb. He said Hurricane also says we're going to have to take him. CP says you niggas ain't getting itch. Ukraine got your Hey man, that's why we're so mad at Biden and them. I mean, although we can't say that Republicans are not going to get in there and do the same thing and keep on sending money to Ukraine and money to Israel, because that's seemed to have been like the standing joke for as long as I can remember, them sending money to Israel and all that kind of stuff. So instead of giving us what we're supposed to have, but yeah, I don't know. And then Jabab makes a great point. He said whether it does or doesn't, we still have to keep grinding. I agree with that, man. And I think we're all of us are grinding and stuff. Like that's the thing that kills me. That a lot of white people, Asian people, they act like when we talk about reparations, we're just sitting in a box somewhere begging for change on the side of the road. Like we come, like all of us come out on the highway exits and be like, hey, y'all give me some change. I can get some change or something like that. Like we're all on food stamps and all of us had Section 8 and grew up out of Section 8 and all that kind of stuff, which we're really out here working 2 jobs or we're struggling to make things happen with what we do got going on. So yeah, I don't really like that. Forrest said we are the economy. Day one, we're the culture. The solution is really with our power and how we use it. But we first must understand that power. I agree with that, man. Like if we start going and joining their white little parties and whatnot, we'll a lot of things would be dead. Like the NBA, all these different sports leagues would fall and crumble. Like nobody wants to watch a bunch of white guys run around and try to score touchdowns and not be able to dunk. That would be so goddamn boring. That'd be like watching paint dry. Like the UFC is kind of like that a little bit. Like a lot of the white dudes don't really have that explosive. They don't have them explosive moves like that. They just do like jiu-jitsu and lay on you and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of boring. They can't box, but they're trying to make it a thing. It's kind of similar. Forrest says his brother selling body butter in the name of the Lord. That boy selling that body butter. America going to have no choice but to give reparations because who's going to help America in the next war? Because it wouldn't be these fleeing new immigrants. Yeah, that's a great point. Unless, they brainwash them to the point where they're like, yes, America's my home. I love it. I love America. They'll give us reparations. Right. And Dogecoin. Hey, you know what's crazy? I bought some when it first got popular. I was like, man, let me go and get on this, man, just in case he get big like how Bitcoin got. But then next thing you know, it never went anywhere. I don't know what happened to it. I put all that money into it. I don't even know what happened to it. I don't know. They giving us our money if they want this country to keep going. Yeah, but do we have enough people that are gonna think like how we're thinking? That's the question. Are there going to be enough people that's going to think like how we're thinking? DSA1 says that's what they're doing is crashing it so they don't have to do it. Yeah, that's real. That's real. CP asks, what leverage do we have to get reparations? I mean, we'd have to. So we would basically have to do what they were talking about earlier on in the video, with kind of in a way, segregating ourselves and building our own little enclaves and cities and stuff. That would be the only way. Like if a whole bunch of black people lived over in down here in Atlanta, they got that area South Fulton. And there are a lot of little areas where black people mostly just live, but it can just be anybody that can come in and stuff. But I don't know. It could be something like that. Like if we had like our own little Chinatowns and Koreatowns and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we could do something where we just we only come out and mess with them for a few things every now and again, and then yeah, maybe. But I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Y'all can go ahead and drop some ideas down in the chat. But I'm about to go and have to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody for stopping through and giving their thoughts, and we will jump on our Fresh and Fit them boys on a lighter note tomorrow, and then also tomorrow. Then also on Friday we're gonna talk about the undocumented bros, the illegals. Again, man, because we got the Chinese and the Mexicans coming out talking against it. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting week. Once again, appreciate everybody. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time.